All right. Another Wednesday. No, wait. It's a Thursday night live. HellaBass live on a Thursday night. We had a little bit of things come up at home. So my wife couldn't take my daughter to hockey practice, so I stepped up and took her to hockey practice. So that's all it was. But family comes first, and I figured Thursday night I didn't have anything going on. Soccer was early tonight. So here we are on a Thursday night, HellaBass Live. And I think there was plenty of streams last night with Mr. Bass and some other things. So hopefully you guys are free tonight. And I know one guy said, hey, I got the vid, which is not good, but he's on quarantine. And he's like, I got another stream to watch tomorrow night. So he was jacked. So that's awesome. Good to see so many people in here. I might have a special guest tonight. I don't know if anybody was peeking on the IG, but great, a phone call. Probably somebody wants me to renew my car warranty. But yeah, what's up, everybody? Plenty of people in the chat, a couple dozen. 3 streams at the same time. Jig Squad here. What's the other one, Gramps? Let me guess. Is Mr. Bass streaming? He never streams. But anybody got any ideas on who I might be bringing in tonight, or whom I got to join? Maybe last minute, if they can make it. Well, there's Mr. Bass. Are you streaming and watching the stream? Because there's no way you're not streaming right now. How is the audio and the video? Burley. All right, Burley. I think this is a normal night for Burley. So those East Coast guys, they'll be done soon. I did decide to show up tonight. Ooh, that's an interesting guess. Sylvie. He's probably too busy like chasing crappies on the ice. Man, chat's flying. Eric says it sounds good. That's good. He's over on Facebook. I got banned on Facebook. I couldn't stream to Facebook for a while because on my personal page, I had been streaming my girls' hockey game for like my parents and stuff on a different YouTube channel than on my Facebook. So like friends and cousins and aunts and uncles can watch my daughter play goalie. And every once in a while, they'll play like music during the intermissions of the game. And I think I got copyright flagged and got banned on Facebook for a while. But I think my ban lifted like an hour ago, so I could come back on Facebook. Debo or Gramps? Oh, well, Daniel might be onto something. I don't know. Baxter works evenings. I don't know if we'll be able to get him on. It's not you, Doug. I don't know. It is the bait man. Look, I didn't give him any warning, and he's on his phone, and I didn't tell him he was coming on. What's up, Baxter?
Man, so speaking of work, you know, I work nights, but I work at 11 p.m., and I was scheduled to go in early and work overtime, but 6 inches of snow really gets Kentucky, where I live, the driving abilities just go out the window, which I'm fine. I got a four-wheel drive Yee truck, so, and I'm only a mile and a half from work, but they canceled work. When you texted me and said, did you find out about overtime? I was sleeping, but I woke up. And I said, yeah, I just got a call. They canceled, so let's stream.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is, sadly enough, Christmas is over, so we're turning off the Christmas lights. So everybody say goodbye, Christmas lights.
Goodbye, Christmas lights. Good timing. My wife just took our lights and tree down today while I was sleeping.
Ours is still up. I've been ragging on my kids. So that's nice. My kids are a little older, 11, 13. They put up the Christmas stuff, but now I'm like on their butts to like get it taken down before they get too busy with sports. Yeah, fishing with the South. Send me a DM or something on Instagram, and I'll definitely fit you in sometime. We'll show off some of your stuff. Daniel says there was a 50-car crash down by you. He also called you Batman instead of Bateman.
I'll take Batman. It's really funny. Like I sometimes I get people, like, you know, you can tell, and like if you got certain tools for YouTube, I used to have like that YouTube buddy, and it would tell you like the terms people are searching to find your videos, and there was always like a 1.5 to 2% like Batman, and people would be like, click my video, like, I'm sorry to disappoint you, I'm not near as exciting or fight any bad guys like Batman, but maybe one of them likes fishing tackle or whatnot. But
Sean, I think, was like on a break. He took like a like a 2-week sabbatical from bass fishing streams and content over Christmas and New Year's, and he's just getting back into it, I think.
I took like a 2-month sabbatical from
We noticed
producing
this is
any
like
content or
a
anything.
welcome back, Baitman. You streamed last week. You put out a video this week. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So if you guys used to watch Baitman and YouTube stopped serving your content because he stopped putting it out, now go back and check it out because he's put some stuff up lately.
Yeah, I took the Randy Blockett approach the other day and just said, I need to put something up, and it's true. I started seeing lots of wiggleworts for sale and wigglewort this and that, and I was like, I want to make a video about this, and I don't want to say. I hope I didn't come across as someone that's like bashing a bait, because I wasn't. And there's always a time and place for almost every bait out there. There's a few that are just certified junk, but I look at the prices on these things and I'm like, man, there's so many good options out there that someone needs to talk. Yeah, so it's a baby bass wart. And
Wait,
this is what
should we
gets
show him should we show him the little surprise I got?
Yeah, show me a surprise.
Well, first, TK Heaven, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you on the channel. But check this out. I got a little something new to play around with. We're adding a bait cam.
Yeah, look at Rich one up me. He's got a bait cam.
Yeah, buddy. Who likes the bait cam? And you can see that's an OG wigglewort. Look at that crisp, clean. You can see the wigglewort written on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll bring that in often in as needed.
It's interesting. Those solid colors, I personally kind of like them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see many manufacturers do that anymore with their baits. I think Thunderhawk Lures is making a pretty interesting crankbait where it doesn't really have a bill. It's just the nose just keeps, the back and nose just keeps extending into one piece. Yeah, that one right there. But they do the solid bill, and I think that's a very interesting deal.
The color on this one is a little hard to see because it's a real dark color. But yeah, we opened while you were working last week. Debo and I opened a giant box of Thunderhawk lures and showed them off. I never really looked at them before. I'm actually pretty impressed. Like, there's some cool stuff, and we'll recap some of that later. But
sure. And I apologize, Debo, man. I joined in Debo's stream just in the chat because I really like him. He's a really good guy, and he puts out some really good content. What I like about Debo, he's kind of like myself. He loves tackle, and he knows quite a bit. And he's not going to sit here and try to be a professional fisherman, but he's addicted to the bait game, and that's kind of me. Yeah, so I took a little hiatus. I'm back, but finished all my stuff with Mr. Menendez, and I got to upload the rest of his shows to YouTube and need to get on that. And so I'm going to try to. My goal is to stream once a week. Upload 1 to 2 videos, at least one. I'm just gonna call it clickbait, because it is what it is. Videos to. I want to drive conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, Rich.
You want to drive conversation without being like way off the deep end. Like,
yeah, I'm not. I got a way off. I got a way off the deep end video planned, but I think most people will know some of these videos are going to be satire. It's not. I'm not being serious, but I think I do feel like sometimes everyone tries to be way too serious. You know what I mean? And we gotta have
some people
fun.
are out here trying to teach people how to catch more big bass and suck less, and then there's others. There's room for everybody, right? Like there's we don't need 100% serious all the time, and we don't need 100% satire. But there's a mix for everything. You're not always in the mood. You're not always in the mood for steak. You're not always in the mood for chicken, right? Sometimes you want fried chicken and a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, like shout out to like Tactical Bass and like Matt and Tim. They pretty much stayed on the same platform, same generalization for years, and they have such a huge following. But they catch a lot of big bass, and now that they moved to Tennessee, they're traveling more, and I think all it's done is really just solidify them as maybe the best fishing-wise YouTubers out there. You know, love him or hate him, Milliken's been dropping DDs like every week.
Yeah. He's been catching some giants on swim baits and
Yeah, I
jerk
saw where
baits.
Tyler's Reel went and poached OH Ivy for a 14.46 or something like that.
Yeah. First share lunker of the year, I guess.
Yeah,
Beards
I
are
don't
not
know
required, but they're highly encouraged fishing for more.
Man, shout out to my wife. Not only did she, she shape up my beard and mustache. Look at my eyebrows. I mean, she did my eyebrows, the unibrow. She cut my hair too.
What they call an aesthetician?
Mm-hmm.
What that is?
Esthetician or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, before I forget, thank you, Tom Mix. Welcome to Team Hella. Love it.
Good job, Tom.
We got some special for this. One of us. But before I forget, this was crazy. So last night, I was supposed to be streaming, and so the stream, like, it was within 30 minutes that I had to reschedule. So the 30-minute live notification went out, and then I had to reschedule because I had to get my daughter to hockey. And during that, while people were hanging out in the chat and the pregame, and Tim and I can't think. It escapes me. A couple of my loyal members were there and kind of chatting, and they let them know. But Aaron Thompson and Critical Gravy became Visor Gang members. So again, shout out to you guys and welcome. Hopefully you're here to see that, but I appreciate you. And that did not go unnoticed, and I made sure I starred those comments to make sure you guys got recognized and shouted out. Because that's awesome.
I like the member deal, and that's awesome. Anytime you get some support like that, and the reason I did it was, a lot of guys like Sean and they always give a donation every week, and I'm like, man, I appreciate that. Obviously, it helps, but I just didn't feel like save you guys some money. Hey, if you're going to donate once or twice a month, you might as well I'll just create a membership, and you can do it once a month for however you feel like it. And I want the best. I started that, and all of a sudden I went on a hiatus. So I want to let all my members know I really appreciate the support. I almost had
to unmember because I wasn't getting any content.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? We're basically the OnlyFans of fish. It's like OnlyFans for fishing, but I'm not going to be nude. So if you join for the nudes, you'll have to get my private link.
You might get some bare baits or some naked baits every now and then, but and like, so people probably ask, what do we do with those things, right? Like, I've got some hardware, right? I got myself a switch, and I got another cable, but I'm waiting on the 50-foot Cat 7 or Cat 8 cable so I can hardwire the studio in. So hopefully every now and then when my stream gets just a little fuzzy, I'm guessing that's because my internet's just kind of dipping or wavering on the Wi-Fi. So what I'm investing in hardware with what, the memberships and all that kind of stuff. And then the bait cam and like getting holders and things like that so that I can just add more elements, better lighting, better internet, better sound quality, and just make the stream better.
Yeah. Fishing the Southeast, I do edit Mark's fields. I film them and edit them. You make and scrub through a few of his videos that I've posted this year, and there might be some footage of me on a GoPro. I actually, I put a clip of myself actually catching a fish in one of them. It's a fun project. You know what I mean? I learn a lot. That's the cool thing about if you're really good with a camera and media and talented, especially right now with the YouTube blow up with all the pros and stuff like that. You can get some really good experience because some of these guys are looking for cameramen and editors and stuff like that. And I'm going to be really honest. I try way harder doing Mark stuff than I ever do for my stuff.
I can tell.
Yeah. I'd like to change that, but for a full TV show, doing what he does, including the voiceover guy and all that, it's about a 3-4 day process.
Yeah.
And doing YouTube, it's all about turnover and getting stuff out. So unless I'm going to make a special video, I'm not going to stay editing on it that long.
Yeah. Does Mark stuff releases on television as well, or is he only on
Yeah,
YouTube?
so we got a local TV channel, so that's why it's
Right.
always after a week or so after it comes out on the local channel here, and it's a local NBC affiliate.
And that's why they're
And
always 22 minutes long or
yeah,
whatever.
I cut the commercials out for YouTube because a lot. Some people know this, some people don't, but you got to have special music for YouTube. It's got to be like non copyrighted, or if it's
Yep.
copyrighted, you have to have the permission for it. So I actually, I pay a fee a month for all the music in that, and I can use it in my videos too. So I try to, but I don't have the music for the commercials. Those companies, whether it's Motor Guide, Strike King, whatever, they
Yep.
pay their licensing fee. So if they put it out there, they're fine. But if I put it on his channel or wherever, I get dinged, and I don't want any copyright strikes because that's how they can take you out there. So I just cut the commercials out, and I kind of feel like, there's no need to have them on YouTube. Mark kind of agrees. So, obviously, my point being, if you can be good with a camera and learn to edit, you don't have to be the best editor. You could be decent. It's all about telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I struggle with YouTube. And I think we've talked about this. I see a lot of videos out there, and there's just 10 minutes of casting and no catching. And then, I caught a bass. Is the best day ever. I can't do that. Like,
Yep.
I went out, like, me and Darius fished. The last video I uploaded before my Block It video was an actual upload where me and him went fishing this past summer. And it wasn't super long, but I felt I told a pretty good account of what happened during the day. I mean, we basically went out there. It was hot. Caught a few smallmouth on top water and caught several dinks, and that's how it went. But we had a good time. And Darius is a really good winter fisherman. So as soon as some overtime slows down, I'm gonna try to head out there and hit some winter secrets up with him.
Nice. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I might. I've toyed with the idea. Like, I might like to look to finally starting to get enough views, and I've thought about having somebody help me edit, right? And so I'll do more recording and less editing, because editing is, I mean, to do it well, and I've been trying to put more time into it, and increase the quality with better edits and better stories and more B-roll, and that all takes time. So
yeah, I mean, the more complicated you make a video, I don't say complicated, but when you're out fishing and your goal is to catch fish, and you want to add B-roll and this and that, then you got to stop fishing and whatnot. So I just try to tell myself, well, if I catch a few fish, then I'll get that later. But
and you're like, well, I'm catching them. I want to keep fishing. I want to keep catching them.
Yeah, and when you don't get to go as often as you want to, sometimes, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'll just catch a few and turn the GoPro off and do what I need to. But I think really, actually, it just depends on what your audience like. Tactical bassing doesn't do any real vlogging, and even if they go to a lake, it's just, hey, here's the GoPro footage and here's the highlights. And I think people enjoy that. And then, let's say they're going to talk jerk baits. And they give you the goods on the jerk bait, and they just put the B-roll over it. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to take the GoPro fishing. I don't know how much real vlogging I'm going to do anymore. Some people like it, but now obviously I'm going to go with some tackle shows, and I think my audience enjoys me walking around an expo center and looking for the newest, latest, greatest, or discontinued old stuff and giving you the rundown. And I that part I really enjoy. That's kind of my deal.
Yeah. Sergeant is made by Thunderhawk Lures. We'll look at those a little more. Let's see. Milliken does need a new scale. I keep the other thing that Milliken, here's, I don't know if, is this anybody else? Can somebody clean or oil his reels? Like,
oh, dude,
it sounds like is like, does he do that for effect, or like, does he think that makes, I don't know. It's just the Wild are up 3-2 in the third. Good. They need to strap their 5-game winning streak.
Are the Vikings going to fire Zimmer? Is he done?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like, people always think the grass is greener on their side. He's done okay. I don't know. Everybody hates Kirk Cousins, but then you saw what it looked like without Kirk Cousins last week against the Packers, and that was not a good show. So I don't know.
He couldn't figure out what to do with Cordero Patterson. CP's been balling out for the Falcons.
Yeah.
He's a special player, but he's also a player that, from my time following at University of Tennessee, he's not. He doesn't run a lot of good routes. So
yeah,
he's special with the ball in his hands, but just getting it to him can be a problem. I saw a good question in here.
Well, one thing, David, you have to come on YouTube and not on Facebook. That will be the first step. Daniel, yes, you were one of the guys that was helping everybody in the chat last night. For some reason, your name mistaken me. You and Tim were getting everybody in praise. Tim says, "What up?" Darius is here. We were talking
Tim's
about you, Darius.
Tim is a crankbait nut. We always DM on Instagram.
Tim and I were talking about doing some like IG lives because he's got a whole bunch of like big baits and a lot of cool stuff. So
yeah,
we'll probably try to integrate Tim a little bit more. What's up, Steve? Good to see you.
Somebody's asking about a scale, and I've been meaning to put this on my channel. I always forget but this company sent this to me, and I would definitely recommend this. This one's in a box. They sent me two. I got one in my truck, so I can. New Year's resolution, I will be scaling some 2-3 pounders. This is a little scale from a company called Snail Trail, and it's pretty cool. It goes up to 50 pounds. It's got the black with the white readouts here. You could save your weights. You can save up to 8. It's got a fish gripper, all that. Just takes AAA batteries. I think it's priced pretty good.
It kind of looks like the small Rapala a little bit, right?
It's very similar to the small Rapala. So they sent this to me, and I used one weighing a fish with Mark, and it was like dead on. He has a catch commander. He's not affiliated with him, which is what he had. And, I mean, they were just right at each other. So it's a pretty neat little deal. You can look them up on Instagram or whatnot. There's a lot of guys talking about them or whatnot. But they sent this to me months ago. That would be my New Year's resolution for YouTubers. Y'all get a scale. So in defense of Ben, at least he puts a scale on his fish, So y'all might see some 3-pounders weighed this year.
That's interesting. Like a tail of the tape. I feel like didn't what's his name? MC Dave Mercer, like his fish facts of fishing. Then they used to like end their show was like 1 hour 32 minutes 783 casts. Of course, like I used to do that. You could do that. It would be really monotonous to count. I mean, the cast thing would be. The fish wouldn't be that hard because you see them all in edit. Yeah, it's a decent idea, especially on like the fun trips and things like that. The tournament stuff is kind of all about the weight.
Yeah, it's ooh.
My home lake, my home lake, right, are some little lakes right by my house that you never heard of. I probably live, of tournament lakes that you guys would know about, I'm kind of halfway between Lake Minnetonka and like the upper Mississippi River just above La Crosse. It's kind of like my home waters.
Yeah, I live on Kentucky Lake, like 5 minutes from it. Matter of fact, where that tornado did a lot of damage on the lake, I live really close to there. And then I guess I actually consider Barkley my home lake too, because it's just a quarter-mile canal connects them both. So
the land between the lakes.
Yeah, so really, actually, the Cumberland River and Tennessee River is my home, if you want to get real technical, because we got the headwaters or tailwaters of both of them right here too. So. Dang, Thomas, you're quarantined at your house, brother. I felt that last year. I felt that. Also, I put a lot of content out, so.
A scale for your weights. You mean like for like measuring tungsten? Just get like a little a male scale or a little kitchen scale. Those work great for like if you need to if you got all your tungsten scattered in a box and you don't know what a 1/2 and a 3/4 inch, just a little kitchen scale works really good for that, or a postage scale. The user experience is better on YouTube, but you do you, David. Yeah, that's for sure. Matthew's got some good big baits as well.
Dude, Matthew blows me up on Instagram too. I need his job because he's never like sent me like a photo of an $8 spinner bait. It's all high end swim baits. I'm like, dang, bud. But it's good stuff, man. I try to answer any DMs I can because I'm a talkative guy, and I enjoy seeing what other people get excited about. And that's how you find out stuff. Like, who knows what somebody's sleeper bait is they're wearing them out on, or caught some big fish that you can acquire and try it yourself.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is Thomas from last week has got himself a Thunderhawk Lures prize pack coming his way. So hopefully that gets there and he can play around with them new baits while he's on quarantine. I think it's quarantine when you're down in Iowa. Stoked for, yeah, we do have the TVF state championship on Vermilion. I would say an 11 on a scale of 10. Yeah, I don't know if I said Mr. Bass in the house. Saw you earlier. This is truly an honor to Mr. Bass isn't actually streaming at this time, and he's, like that guy is like the marathon streamer. Like the only person that outstreams Mr. Bass now is Smallmouth Crush with his 24-hour garage office cams that I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like Travis and I like his content, but from a grow your channel YouTube perspective, I don't know if that's really a good thing because we've talked about it, and this is what hurts my channel. Matter of fact, I just had a guy leave a comment and said, "Hey, I just subscribed, but I didn't in the past because all of their videos are an hour to 2 hours long. That's just, so I really appreciate the short video, and that's one reason I did that. But the way YouTube algorithm works, let's say me and you have a stream that's got 90 to 100 people engaged for an hour long. When you upload those shorter videos, you're only getting 6-7 minutes engagement maybe. YouTube doesn't want to promote it. It said, well, this has only got 6 minutes of engagement versus 45 minutes, and it's a complicated thing. So I don't know if doing a 24-hour stream where you only got 10 to 50 people watching versus an hour and a half long where you got triple that is a good thing. I don't know. YouTube changes so much. Tomorrow evening they may say, hey, you know what, we're going to push live content from now on, and then I'm going.
I think it's good though. I mean, everything I've researched and read is that they're doing all kinds of things to go head to head with Twitch. So I really think the live content is going to be a bigger and bigger thing.
It's always changing, man. Always changing.
I mean, we got triple 111 tonight. So
111.
I think I did a thing. I think it was average. I think I was averaging, I forget what it was, 130, 40, 50 in my last 6 streams. So
now we'll say this. We've talked about it. I felt like this fall, YouTube did a poor job of notifying anybody. Actually, last year, we've talked about, when I streamed, 150 to 250 people was pretty daggum normal. And there for a bit in the prime, I would say, when me and Epic were streaming like once or twice a week at the first of COVID, dude, 400 to 700 people every night. A couple of nights in the thousands. And YouTube was really pushing Travis and me way up. And then after COVID calmed down, it was like, man, I can barely get 120 people on here.
Yeah, I think that the lockdown glory days for streaming, right? When there was no sports on TV, right? I mean, that's the thing, is like literally the only live thing was live on YouTube. Everything else was reruns, right? So
yeah. But now, like my phone, like I get your notifications as soon as you upload a video, but I'll start getting notifications for all kinds of stuff. People I was never get notifications. People I'm not even subscribed for. I know the algorithm's working because I'm like it's basically saying you watched a video about jerkbaits with tactical bass, and here's one from HellaBass. Here's one from these clowns I've never heard of, and I watch the video and I get pissed off, and then there's other stuff, but so they're really actually right now, I feel like YouTube's doing a really good job of trying to promote people's content.
Nice. Yeah. Matt got himself some Cadence, I think, from the Tackle Warehouse sale. I think you're going to be pretty happy with those. You know anything about the Nishine? Was that Nishine Simcoes? I'm not even sure what those are.
I think that's their new lipless. And man, Sean, I meant to answer that. We're just going all over the place right now, but I looked at that and I really liked the look of that. I think Nishine's a really nice company. They got some good stuff, and they're on the up and up. And I love that jerkbait, that Erie darter. It's kind of like a cross between the pointer and
there it is,
a Mega Bass Vision. It's got that weird hump.
It just says coming soon. There's no picture of it. That is not helpful. I was going to share it, but I was like, there's not even a picture of it.
Hey, speaking of Tackle Warehouse, I was told today that they got to stop at these guys, a little non-selfless plug. The 6 cent sweep, their soft swim bait.
Nice.
I saw some guys say they got some in. So if you'll head to Tackle Warehouse, you could probably grab these. I know a lot of guys really wanted to try these. It's a really good bait. It's kind of like, I fish it like a trash fish, really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Beast took it. They got some in. Just go to my channel and click my Tackle Warehouse link. I'd appreciate it. And,
yeah. For all you guys that get your stuff from Tackle Warehouse, I'm sure a lot of you get Omnia and Tackle Warehouse, depending on what you're getting. Like, go hit up Baitman, go hit up Debo, whoever's your favorite. Go back and forth. Click on the links. Till
okay to
Tackle
order
Warehouse. Doesn't cost you a thing.
Yep.
Helps
order
them out
everywhere. I ordered those chick magnets from Omnia, and I'll be honest, man, they took care of it, got them pretty quick, and I had them months before I started seeing people have them. Now I only got 2 colors, but Omnia did me right, so shout out to you guys.
And he found out because he followed HellaBass on Instagram.
Sure did.
I do fish topwaters a little bit. For a whopper plopper, 110, 130, I would go with like a 734 or a 735 in either the Fury or the Sierra. Like, depending on your budget, I think the Sierra is the ideal rod. It's got a little bit more moderate, slow action. But then again, if you're fishing topwaters, you're going to see it. The $120 rod. The Fury does a pretty good job too. I like to fish them on straight braid whopper ploppers. That's me. So I like a little bit softer rod, and that's what my setup for. Some guys like to throw them in like a 764, 765 crankbait rod as well. But
I think 734 is.
I would say 734 Fury or a 735 Sierra is what I would do.
Yeah. I got that question a lot in retail. What's the best whopper plopper rod? And I sold a lot of 734 Furies.
And the Champion 734 would be a good one too. But that's like, do you really need a $250 rod to throw a top?
Well, what I told guys there is you got a pretty decent utility rod for a lot of things. Right. So
yeah, I mean, if you're just going to have it tied on as a whopper clopper, it's overkill. But if you're going to throw a whopper clopper and a spinnerbait and a bladed jig and flip some tubes and like it does all those things really well.
Small Texas rig, Cinco. Yeah. It's just a good overall rod. Somebody wanted me to show this Jink Juice splatter balsa, and I wish I had a link for you guys, but I don't because it's a handmade deal. So
Carl, all guys, I'm a jig guy. Jig, frog, chatterbait.
So there's this guy named Jerry Fromm made this. It's handmade, hand carved. It wasn't a CNC machine deal, and very similar. Looks like a Bling 55. Really like that. But he's got that school bus, almost a lime, with that purple splatter. I mean, that's just sexy.
Yeah.
I think the guy's DMs on Facebook got blown up, and he's probably like, and he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know you did YouTube or none of that stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I try, And he's like, "Man, I got people blowing me up." And I'm like, "Well, I'll make you some extra money, man. I liked your baits." And I hate to say this, I I enjoy giving a guy like that 25, 30, 40 bucks, making a handmade deal, because you time and effort into it, and you're directly supporting someone versus, no offense, buying mass-produced space on the internet or in a store, because you're really just giving money directly to them, to pay for all their overhead and stuff like that. And there are a lot of bait builders out there that aren't in retail stores, and they're doing it for the love of making baits and making people happy. So I appreciate that aspect. So anytime you support your local bait maker, whether it's swim baits, spinner baits, jigs, there's a lot of good jig builders out there. Go for it.
You see that? I switched sides, and now your Instagram's underneath your face.
I don't post my face on Instagram very much.
No, but I'm saying that's somebody was asking what's your IG, and it's Baxter the Bait Man. I'm gonna put it back. I like being on this side. Yeah, Omni they're in a good position that they can be a lot more nimble than the big guys right now.
Yeah,
but there's advantages to both. Oh, I didn't see this. Shout out Corey True.
Heck yeah, Corey. Thanks for
Team Hella. That's awesome, dude.
HellaBass. I need to join Rich's because he's a member of me. It'd be only fair.
Welcome to the team, Corey. You're one of us. Let's see here. Sierra for spinnerbaits. I throw the 703 a lot, but I feel like depending on the length of the rod, I think a 734 or 704 probably would be the best, but for some reason I just like the 703. It kind of depends on what kind of spinnerbaits you throw, right? If you throw a lot of like bushes, stumps, tight to the bank, accurate casting, I'd go with a 703, 704. But if you're more of a I like to fish it over windswept flats and grass beds and that kind of stuff, I'd go with the 7.3 model, I think.
I wish I could figure out on StreamYard how to, when people make comments, type a comment back to them in here. But
you can't reply. You have to kind of it doesn't autofill the.
Yeah, I can't even figure out how to reply to them in the platform. I say private chat.
Yeah, for some reason, guests it doesn't allow. You have to basically open YouTube in a separate browser and mute it, and then do it on there, which sucks. That is one downside. You have to kind of, as a guest, you kind of have to well, that's right. He said the Omnia price match the Tackle Warehouse sale.
What's up, Kevin Gray?
Yeah. Sean's already ordered from Europe because he couldn't wait for him to actually drop domestic.
I ain't that hard up for baits where I'm over. I don't do much Japan overseas ordering. Maybe that hurts me sometimes, but I can barely even get in my bait room right now. I've got to do a hardcore organization. It's bad, and I'm running out of storage. So,
physical storage or
yeah.
Are you talking about like bait room storage, or are you talking about hard drive storage?
Bait room storage. So it's cool to have all this stuff hanging up, but at the end of the day, do I really need all? You've never seen it. I might try to do it this Saturday night. I might try to flop the camera around.
You've been teasing that for a year.
The problem is I have to move all kinds of stuff out of the floor to actually just move the TikTok light. And but dude, I got bags of Zoom, Yamamoto, Reaction, missile baits. It's all up there. I'm kind of thinking of just putting them in bait bags and storing them, and if I need them, I just grab them out. That way I can use the back side of this wall I got so much other stuff to hang up. It's just,
yeah, for sure. 3/8 and half-ounce chatterbaits. The Sierra 734 is my rod. It's right here. Probably a video soon on my dedicated chatterbait setup. Right there. It's got an SLX XT on it. So you got a full retail. You're talking about $300. Use some codes and some discounts. You can get it for a little less than that.
So somebody, I think Carl asked what was my favorite bait technique.
Baits. Yeah.
It's hard for me to narrow it down. I mean, swim bait
what
bites
they're
addicting.
biting.
Really, that's it. What they're biting. I really, really love topwater fishing. I'm actually that's probably one technique I'm really good at, and always have been. that probably started my little bait addiction. So I would say actually throwing a walking bait or a buzz bait is probably my number one thing.
Yeah, buzzbait's fun.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm really
there's
good at
bites that I
fishing a
really
worm, but
like.
it's boring.
Like a buzzbait is super fun, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that is consistent, right? Like a
Right.
jig, a chatterbait, those are also fun bites, but I can almost always get a bite on a jig. Where there's just some days you can't buy a bait on buzzbait, but some
Yeah.
days they're going to crush it, and those days are amazing.
I'd say it would be between a buzz bait and throwing a small flat side. I love the thing about a crankbait. I love when they bite it, how it just loads up. I'm a big spinnerbait guy too, man. Spinnerbaits are cool now, and I've thrown one for years when the chatterbait craze was growing.
Yeah.
Now, I also really didn't get hard into bladed jigs for a while, but
Yeah, Eliza, so yeah, I'm throwing out numbers talking about Dobbins rods, the model numbers. So like a 734 is a 7 foot
7'3".
3 inch 4-power rod. And when I'm saying 7.3, 7.0, I'm saying 7 foot 3 inches or 7 foot even. And so, good question. Maybe you can see if Vanessa or George can help you out with that. XP 705 glass. A lot of people love that for square bills. Some lipless.
Great.
Some people
What I
it
like
for
to call
jerkbaits.
mid-range cranking rod.
Yeah, DT10s,
Yeah.
DT8s when they come out. Great rod for OG Slims.
Good rock crawler rod.
Rock crawler.
Series 4, Series 5, Strike King, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, anything kind of 10 foot, square bill to 10 foot. Think about it that way. Anything in there. I don't know.
Are those Steve? Are those the little ones that come in the?
Well, isn't the Redemption the one that Skeet put on the map when he won the Classic?
It may be.
Because it was the Redemption Classic, I think.
Mm-hmm. They still make a spinnerbait. I don't know what goes on in Lucky Craft. They change things all the time.
I don't know. I can always see the join button on my phone. I join D-Boats from my phone. I'm pretty sure I join Baitmans from my phone. Yeah. You have to hide the live chat or hit the live chat button and make that, and then you can see the description and stuff. But every phone and every tablet is a little bit different. It's very consistent.
Yeah. One thing I read, you have to have the most up-to-date version of the YouTube app.
Okay. So maybe you got to go into the App Store and update your YouTube app. Yeah, Chris, the problem is I think that Dobbins is low on inventory. Most of their Sierras are tied up at factories or on ocean containers, so there's just not a lot of inventory. I think they will plan to carry them as soon as Dobbins has inventory, from what I understand. Here's a good question from John. What are 3 or 4 small bait or maybe off the wall or little known bait companies because we think they kill it?
I tell you one, especially if you're like in big baits and A-rig stuff and stuff like that, Scottsboro Tackle Company. They have an actual retail store, but I think it's pretty cool how hard Tim that owns it's grinded just making swim baits and now collaborates with Yum, and they didn't just like, hey, we're going to knock your stuff off. They collaborated with him and put his logo on there and his baits. Now, the bait's not hand poured, but it's really nice. So that's a good company to support. They're a sneaky place to find some stuff when everybody's sold out. A lot of times they'll have it, especially if you're looking for like gang crafts and stuff like that. 316 swim baits, because Tim's a fishing dude. He supports everybody, so he always orders popular stuff. So that would be one. Sticking off my head. I've seen another.
I think so. If you like tubes, there's a company in Wisconsin called Get Bit Baits that makes amazing tubes, both little tubes, big tubes, smally tubes. Some pretty cool stuff, and I think they sell at Tackle Warehouse and maybe a few other places. But Get Bit Baits, like if you like tubes, they're worth checking out.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Hog Farmer. I think Scott's a really good dude.
I jotted that down. When you said A-rigs, I was like, is he going to say Hog Farmer?
Yeah, Hog Farmer. So I think he makes the best A-rigs on the planet. obviously, when I went down to Texas, Casey's catching a 14 on it. We caught multiple 8+ fish that hold up really well. He's got good components. They are pricey, but they're all handmade. There's a lot of guys saying they're hand making them and they ordering everything, or that they're getting them pre-made overseas. But Scott really does put the work into them. But the Spunk Shad's amazing chatterbait trailer, and that was kind of his original deal, and some other companies have kind of caught on to it, and they hadn't really knocked it off. But he's a good dude, and I like doing shows with him. And so that's 2. Do you got another one?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about Super K before,
Yep.
and their swim jigs, they do. I mean, they're hand poured, hand tied jigs out of Wisconsin. They make really good stuff. They're not big. You pretty much have a few local tackle shops, and they hand tie them and sell them on their website. And there is a code in the description, but I think they really do kill it. And they've got a river swim jig with a really stout hook on it, which I like.
One of these days, I'll be less of a simple jig man. I have to grab some. I guess if I had a third one, and I'm trying to think of stuff that's really not mass markets. We'll go back to swim baits. This is a local company here. Y'all probably see them on my stream quite a bit. It's Ignite swim baits. These guys are really good.
Yeah.
And they used to have a discount code for me. I'll check if they still do. It was Jaint15. You get 15% off. But they make 2 styles of swim bait. They make this, which is kind of like the top shelf swim bait. This is a color that used to be really popular. It's called Blue Gizzard. Just a shad color. This was really good in the winter, really good in the fall. And then they make another one that's basically the same mold as the Scottsboro, because Scottsboro actually owns the CAD designs to this mold, believe it or not. But they make some off the wall colors in this stuff, the Scottsboro swim bait. So if you like Scottsboro and you want some different colors, Tim keeps it really simple. These guys go a little bit out the wall. This one's kind of got a green back, really cool. So, but this Ignite baits, they're in Owensboro, Kentucky. They're really good guys. They take care of me and make a great bait. And you can get ones with purple in them too. So there you go. There's my 3.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if they're considered small anymore, but I've been pretty impressed with X Zone. Like, I feel like
I got some stuff. I got some Ned baits, and I've got the Adrenaline Bug. That's a company I would like to spend a little bit more money with and see how much I like their stuff. I think the quality is good. The colors are good.
Yeah. I would say I don't throw a lipless as much as I should. I am pretty, we'll talk about these a little bit more later, but I'm pretty impressed with this Sergeant. I don't know if you know this. It's actually got rotating hook hangers on a lipless crankbait.
I like that. Is that Thunderhawk?
But I haven't fished it yet. It looks cool. But the most productive lipless for me in the last 2 years has been a Quake. But I'm not sucking up to bait man, but
no, man, that's I've told a lot of times that's the bait that really stood out to me. In the first day I threw, I caught like a 5-pounder.
That's 6 cents Quake if you don't know what it is for whoever's listening.
And so I was like, well, maybe it's a fluke. Dude, I had an unbelievable day. And I had a guy, I took a kid fishing. Actually went in his boat because these days kids have nicer boats than most adults. And so I went in his boat and caught that big one. And he threw a red-eye shad, very similar color. He threw like green tomato, and I'm throwing the red chartreuse. And it was about a 3-to-1 deal. Now, was it my retrieve? I don't know. So the next day I went fishing with somebody else, and they just bit it. And I don't know. There's so many guys throwing red-eye shads. It's obviously probably one of the most popular out there, red-eye shads and all the other ones, that I think that Quake, it's not as loud. And guys, it's a different pitch. This is a whole nother stream. Different pitch and vibration. It's really good shallow water lipless. If you're like want to fish over the top of grass and stuff, it's a good one because it doesn't sink down real fast.
Yeah.
So
I love Guggen Slayer's name. I always got to put him on the screen whenever he's here because that's just a sweet name.
Yeah.
Do you have the 6th Sense blade bait?
Yeah.
While you're digging it out, just want to mention a few things before I forget. I want to thank Arsenal Fishing supporting the stream, the channel. Can't forget to shout them out. And the other thing I want to mention, because I don't want to forget, is I do have the second chance box. So last week we gave away, I don't know how many $100s of Thunderhawk lures, and they finally mailed out yesterday morning or Tuesday morning. But we're going to open this up so you can get a pretty good idea of the amount of stuff everybody won on the live stream last week. But
I always forget to mail my stuff out for like 2 months.
We saved it, and anybody that made a comment on last week's stream with Debo is entered in. So if you're watching now and you didn't watch last week, you can still have a few minutes to go leave a comment on last week's stream and get entered in. And we'll open this up. Go get Baitman's professional master baiter opinions on some of these Thunderhawk lures here in a minute.
Yeah. So here's the slice blade bait. So I know these blade baits are. This is actually a Jank Juice blade bait. You can't see the purple real well. Oh, when I turn it, you can. Thank you, Rich. That's great camera work. But this is the new slice. I got 3 slots up here. Many blade baits feature that, where you can adjust what that does when you change slot and make it run nose up, nose down, or more to the middle. But it does have those super sharp triple grips on there. And if you notice the bottom, it's a little fatter down here, so it's centered very, very well. So that's also going to cause water to throw off and give it some vibration. But blade bait, man, is a sweet deal. I fish them like a rattle trap in the spring. When everyone's throwing all these rattle traps and stuff, I will fish this thing just on a steady retrieve with some lift dropping and catch some good fish. But you can vertically fish these, fish like I talked. There's a lot of ways, and man, it's such a simple bait and catches a lot of fish. But this is kind of a premium version. It's a little. This one's 5/8 of an ounce, a little bit bigger than a Demiki Vault. Really good bait. I think they're sold out everywhere right now, but lots of good colors. And that's a bait that I don't have a lot of blade baits, so I ordered a bunch of them because I always feel like there's situations, especially in the winter, early spring, where I need that. And I'm just like, well, I don't have any. No.
Gotta mute myself without clearing my throat. Yeah, not a lot because we're a single bait in Minnesota. We can throw 2 or 3 on the river. I've thrown them in Alabama and places. I've got a few. They're fun. They wear you out. But I'll probably get some more Minnesota rigs for this year, early in the season, maybe.
Thank you, Debo. Good to see you, buddy.
What? We got a Debo? I'm too far behind on the chat. Spinnerbaits and swim jigs, 1 rod. I'd get the Sierra 734 for sure.
If you're in a doubt what Dobbins rod to buy, just buy something that's a 734. You'll be happy.
Yeah. With it. Or DM me on the IG. I'll answer your questions. When fishing from shore, riprap, giant boulders, best crankbait to throw. It's getting hung up. I'll let you take that one, bait man.
I don't know if it's a one bait, but I would look for. I know everyone wants to think of square bill, but square bills aren't very good in rock. They tend to hang. I would look for something that's more of a rounded lip. Like the OG Slim has that round lip. The OG Slim 6 and the new 4 have more of a rounded lip, and they come across rock really, really good. A Series 3 from Strike King or a Bandit 200's really good shore bait. But I look for something with more of a rounded lip. It's going to deflect off rock a little bit better. Not get hung up in those crevices. Square bills tend to dig sometimes.
Debo says DT4.
DT4, DT6, man, those are really good. I'm fishing riprap from shore. If you could cast them, I would say a shad wrap, but it's really hard to cast a shad wrap a long way. So,
but if he's fishing from shore, or he or she, and you can make them short presentations, that might be pretty good.
Right.
E-fan in the house. Happy New Year. Glad you got your Bass Tech jigs, Chris. Problem is you live in Iowa. It's going to be a little while. Although the Tungsten's the first one to crash through the ice in the spring. Matt's got some Super Ks. Yeah, and so for you people that like, it's hard to find stuff in fishing that's made in the USA, but these jigs are, they've obviously got Chinese hooks in them, right? Or overseas hooks, but like they're hand poured, they're hand tied. I'm sure the skirts come from overseas, but they're about as US made as you're going to probably find. Carl, if I can find you a 725 XC, I will ping you and let you know if I find one, or I'll see if I can get some inside track on one on Omnia when they come in. I just saw a comment I was going to say here. Yeah, Debo did a pretty good painting video. You know, as a person that doesn't like to paint, it was pretty good. I want to try the DT8. I don't got one yet. I do think, I agree, Tim, DT6 is probably my number one crankbait, and it probably is one of the most versatile crankbaits made.
Some dude on Instagram trying to give me some wiggle warts. I
Like, I'm
appreciate
going to prove
that.
you wrong. I'm going to send you a bunch.
I appreciate that, but man, those have a lot of value, and I just can't accept stuff like that. Don't want them, go sell them. You'll get at least 20. These are good colors too.
There you go. I like the attitude, Bob. He's going to say F it and go to Texas and jump in a kayak tournament. Good idea.
Heck yeah.
Dude, so we got 120, 140 if you count our friends over at Facebook, 130. Got a few extra over at Facebook hanging out. We're caught up on the chat. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you about a DT6. If the only argument I hear bad about DT6 is every once in a while you get a run where the bills fall off of them. I have not had that problem, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's a wood bait, man. So I think a lot of people don't realize, but the bill's like pressed into that bait, and sometimes I just don't think the epoxy and balsa ratio mixes up very well. You know, it's not a wire through bait. If you follow any balsa wood builders, they run a wire through the middle of their bait, and a DT is not, and so it's not.
I don't have an OG Tiny. I've heard they've showed up at the academies down south.
Yep,
but I have not. I don't have them.
Have.
And I have no chance to fish them right now for me. Debo, this is interesting because I was going to maybe do a video on this. I kind of had three things in my mind that I was thinking about that I wanted to focus on for next year. You got anything other than just fishing more and creating more content? Or you got a bait or a lure that you want to fish? Or do you want me to go and you can think about it?
Hey, I saw where Debo said he was starting another channel.
No.
He didn't.
He's not.
Okay.
He's not going to go with the... I wonder I wonder if Alex Rudd is regretting his live channel right now.
Oh, man, you know, I talked about that, said I was thinking about doing the same thing, but
it doesn't look like it's working out for him. But
you know
we'll
what?
see.
Here's the deal. So, like, Debo's got over 100,000 viewers. Is it really hurting him to do one live stream a week, and he's getting 300 guys in there? Lots of engagement. I do feel like there's some people they don't want to watch a stream. You know,
and then there's people that like to watch live and don't really care about regular videos too. So,
and there's a lot of people that watch these lives you never see in the comments, because I'll get done streaming or something and my phone blows up. Hey man, I saw you talking about this and that. I'm like, man, join the chat.
I've got buddies all the time like, oh yeah, I saw you when you were talking to Seth or you were talking to, and I was like, I've never seen you comment. I've never seen that.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't give us a master list of who's in your live stream.
I'm trying to remember. So one thing for sure that I want to do next year is I want to fish heavy chatterbaits deep. So I want to take, and rather than buy a bunch of like 1 ounce jackhammers or whatever, I have and I bought them last year and just never did it. I bought a bunch of the switchblades from Queen's Tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't familiar, actually my latest video, I featured these. But they're just little blades that you can clip on. It's really a really clever system. But there's a little latch system. It's pretty secure once you bend it back in place. This one's all jacked up somehow. The clip is like wrapped around the blade in a bad way here. But it allows you to put it on any vertical tie jig, and I already have a ton of 3/4 ounce tungsten jig heads.
I'll be right
So
back.
why not slap a queen tackle on a 3/4 ounce jig head I already have and start showing them bass down deep something new. I had one rigged up here. So that's one of the things that I want to do. But yeah, basically the blade comes in like this. Maybe this is a good time to. So you can see that right there. Here's the queen tackle, and it's got these little clevises, and you open one. Make sure I open the right one. You just bend this little tab out, right? And then this little bar falls out. You slide that over your jig head, and then you clip it back in there and bend it in. And you've made yourself your own custom chatterbait on a jig. And so you can reuse jigs you have. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of jigs if you want to experiment with a new color or a new size. And I had one rigged up, but I have too much tackle, and I can't, even in one single box, I can't see the one that I literally just had in a video like a day ago. Because there it is. There's the one I rigged up in the video, right? So this is on a Bass Tech head, and you can see that there now. It's locked in on that bar, and so that's one of the things for sure that I want to do.
I need to order some of those. I think those are really cool. Yeah, so see the bait cam. You got the bait cam going? Heck yeah.
Yeah. And then
sorry, I had to start my truck, so if you guys hear
that.
anything. Yeah, I didn't put the yee pipes on my truck this time. I probably should. Loud pipe saves lives, but I gotta run some gas station run here in about 20 minutes for my wife, or she's gonna get mad. But
nice. And then I'm gonna say it again. I want to do big. I want to throw swim baits more again this year. I always say that, but it doesn't typically happen. And then the free rig was my third one that I want to do more of.
I would stay away from it.
The free rig?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think this may call for a Randyism.
There we go. We're making content.
I feel like
why the free rig is a gimmick, and it's the Texas rig by Baxter.
Pretty much. I feel like there's a lot of people putting out content and TikToks and trying to make this rig and this rig and this. You don't need a free rig. Just throw a drop shot. Just throw a light Texas rig. Hey, straight up, I agree with Randy Blockett today. Had a video in today's YouTube video why no one's throwing just a Texas rig plastic worm. I feel like those old school techniques don't get that hype factor, and they don't sell a bunch of JDM baits at the hookup tackle. So I love the hookup. I love the hookup, but that's what it is. I get so many people asking about free rigging and I don't know, this crazy stuff they see on TikTok and all that. And do you really need it? Probably not.
Send me the link. I want to check out this channel, Debo.
Yeah, the India rig, like India rig, and all this stuff. I'm like, man, you're overcomplicating fishing. It's going to sell a lot of product, no doubt. I mean, I'll definitely try it. At the end of the day, the free rig, I like the concept and idea, but I don't know when I'm going to use it over anything else. And I talked to Punch Fishing on Instagram about it. I mean, I'll definitely give it a try, but I think there's so much people putting out content to. I mean, do you really need all that stuff? So, yeah, I think free rig is basically a drop shot rig where the weight slides, instead.
I mean, I think it's more similar to a old school unpegged Texas rig with just a little more freedom. But
Mike Vocal, that is a great idea. I hadn't fished the Axle because when they come out, it was already. Oh, it wasn't winter. It was just
wasn't swim
fall.
jig season.
It was not swim jig season, but you could put a bigger trailer on it, so you put the whale or a big dipper or stuff like that. That's a very interesting idea. Putting a switchblade on there could be a really good deal in like Florida. I like that.
Sounds like a heat wave, Tom. It was -12 when I started the stream here. I'm gonna stick with my spinning rods when I'm gonna finesse. I don't I don't see the need for BFS for me.
Darius says, if you want to start arguments, start what's the best knots. That's why I only tie one knot for everything, and that's San Diego Jam. Doesn't fail me. And then I tie RP knot if I decide to get really into it and want to make braid to later.
What rod do I plan to use for heavy chat? I'll probably use a jig rod. I'll probably just use like my 745 or something like that. Whatever I throw jigs on.
Yeah, I've thrown 1 ounce jackhammer. I use some that's like almost the same, just a little bit longer for longer casts. Because you don't want it to rise, so I want to make that extra cast out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got, I mean, they do make football heads with vertical line ties aren't super common, but there's some are out there. You could definitely put a switchblade on a heavy football jig and slow roll it. That'd be cool. I don't really set goals for days on the water. I mean, sometimes I'll, like in a tournament, I'll have a target weight that I'm really shooting for, but I'm obviously trying to put as much as I can. Or I might hit like a weight, and then I may change the way I fish in a tournament. But sometimes if I'm out fishing for fun or I'm making a video, I'll put a weight up there. Like, hey, Baitman are out on Link X today, and we're shooting for 21 pounds or something like that. But that's more for a video than I would for just fun. Hopefully you used Baitman's code or Debo's code or their links in their channel.
I bet me and Debo, we need to do another stream, and I like those. Go look on Tackle Warehouse. That doesn't do good for my wallet. But I went through my receipts last year, Rich. I spent less than $1,000 on fishing tackle all year. Now,
if you don't count rods and reels, I didn't spend $1,000.
Yeah. Now that obviously doesn't count what 6 Cent sends me, and I've been sent by other people. But I just did not get into that tackle buying groove like I wanted to.
We should have a full frog stream. I need to have Debo as we get a little warmer and we can start like the light at the tunnel is coming close. We're gonna do an all frog stream with Debo. He's a frog nut like me.
I secretly have a frog fetish. Like,
if you don't like frogs down deep, probably we can't be friends.
So here's the deal about frog. It is one of the most enjoyable, frustrating techniques out there. Like when you have a good day frog fishing, you'll want to sell all your stuff and just throw frogs. And then, like me, I'll go out there and they're not really eating it. They're just blowing it out of the water and they're not hooking up. That's when I tie the buzzbait on. It can be really frustrating. But finding the right frog, everybody's style is a little different. I feel like some frogs cater to some people, especially if you got a lot of heavy vegetation. A lot of the frogs I like may not be right for you.
Yeah,
I think
so Daniel, I've seen the switchblade. They have them at Queen Tackle. They have Dick's Sport. I mean, there's a few online, but I would recommend Tackle Warehouse. And if you're gonna do it, hit up Debo or Baitman's descriptions and use that link. Look, and it looks like they're part of the 25 days of Christmas sale, so you might want to go quick. I don't remember how much longer that lasts, but you can get them for, instead of $2 a piece, they're basically $1 a piece right now at Tackle Warehouse. Yeah, don't move north, Tom. Now, if you could move further south in the winter and then summer up north, then you'd be onto something. That's what my parents do. Cranking a frog, I like a 735 or a 746 for my frogs.
I had a Tatula 6, I think it was a 610 heavy skipping rod. All right, and obviously it was Andy Montgomery deal for skipping under boat dogs. But dude, I threw some 65-pound braid on it, and you talk about a sneaky little frog rod for fishing like I do under trees and stuff. Dude, that thing was pretty sweet. It's really light. I wish I hadn't sold it.
Michael, I haven't specifically held a 765, but here's one thing to know about mag heavies versus medium heavies versus whatever. First of all, there's no such thing as a standardized medium heavy. These are all like made up terms. There is no like chart to put a rod on and bend it and call it a medium heavy or a mag heavy or a heavy or a moderate slow, super fast, extra fast. But not all 5 powers are the same at Dobbins, and a Sierra is definitely more moderate action. And there's probably because there's more length. I don't know. Gary designs all the rods for certain applications, and I just don't know enough about the 765 for sure. But
a lot of guys like that for a football jig.
Never say you have too many frogs.
One thing me and Rich do agree on, the True Tungsten Mad Max is one of the best frogs ever made.
This is my main... Oh, maybe this is a good opportunity to... Let's see here. There's the frog box. Kind of... They're all piled in there. I'm sure this webcam's got a little bit of a bad connection all of a sudden. But
it looks
we've got Bronze Eyes. We've got Mad Maxes. We've got a handful of Terminators.
Some dude messaged me on Instagram about a month ago, and he went to Ollie's or one of those bargain bin stores and bought like 24 Mad Maxes for $3 a piece.
Hopefully they're Gen 2s and not Gen 1s.
Yeah, they were. I offered him 6 for like 10. He won't take it.
There's the Evolve Nervous Walker, which is Evolve Nervous Walker, which was one of my favorites that don't make anymore. And then we got. Did I lose that one? Where is it?
I tell you, the sneaky one's the Nories. That's a really.
I have
good
not
frog.
fished the Nories. I was looking for my hand-tied. Oh, here it is. Swamp Donkey with a black and blue.
That's an OG one too. They don't make that color in the new runs.
Too bad the weight is gone in it.
Swamp Donkey's a really good mat frog.
I do have a plan to like test out the new Swamp Donkeys versus the Teckles, but I haven't got around to it. All right, let's see here. Favorite frog and color: black. If they won't bite the black, white, or natural brown.
I like a natural brown. I'll throw that in red quite a bit.
I did see if Gary would send me some of their new Maverick rods and reels and stuff to do some initial reviews on, so we'll see if that happens. I haven't fished the 745, but I held it at Omnia, and I think it would make a perfect jig rod. Tackle where else goes to the 10th, so you got 4 days to scoop up that stuff with the links in the description for Baitman. I don't anymore. I used to. I don't think it. I think if you maybe are really struggling or learning how to walk a frog, it can help to just tweak one leg. But I think once you get the hang of it, I don't think it matters.
I think frogs, the development of the soft plastic frog has come so far
Right.
that they've molded them to walk a whole lot better than used to. Like with the Spro frog, I think it does help with some of the newer stuff like the Vega frog, the Nories, and some of the Bobby's Perfect frog. You really don't have to trim nothing.
Yeah, I think Adam, what you're saying is the soft Mad Max is the frog, and it is one of the best frogs. But the one is the Gen 2, not the Gen 1. The Gen 1s are in a different box, and when I'm pre-fishing the river, I feed those to pike.
Appreciate that, Adam. That's a great comment. I would say between me, HellaBass, and the people in this chat right here, there's an infinite amount of bait knowledge.
Yeah, Stanford's boom boom frogs are okay, but they're a little stiff. The hookups are just okay. They're fine. They don't make my socks go up and down.
Yeah, I mean that's not a frog that I'm going to gravitate to in a retail store. But if I'm out fishing and it was in the bottom of my tackle bag or boat and I needed a frog, I have no problem
You're
tying
talking
one
about
on.
this teckle, or are you talking about like the other ones? Because I do want to like compare the new swamp donkeys to the teckle to the old swamp donkey, just to see some like is there really any difference? Have you tried the new? Was it the Flappy Frog?
No, I told Punch in the chat I haven't. It looks cool.
It
And
does
then
look
Gramp
cool.
said it felt like a gummy worm.
I think Gabe has thrown it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he said it was pretty cool. For those that
Yep,
don't
that's what happens
know,
when they kill the grass on Kentucky Lake. That's kind of a Lake X deal for me.
so here's the
I have
new.
dedicated tackle to fishing Lake X.
It's
No.
kind of like a hybrid Elastec, the unique plastic. It's kind of hollow and it's got the kick in. And people have done this in the past. I
Yep.
think the top toad is pretty
Yep.
good,
That's basically a high end top toad.
but it sounds like companies are starting to finally figure it out to the point where it's actually viable. There's been a lot of them that have come out and they've just been junk when they've tried to do
Mm-hmm.
this. But Omnia's got all the colors. If anybody wants, it looks like they're selling them because I'm guessing they didn't just order 3, so people are grabbing them and picking them up. So might want to scoop those. Looks like our boy Kyle Walcher will tell you what they're all about here. Do they come with a hook, or do you have to Texas rig them?
I thought it had this typical standard frog hook in there.
Like the double
maybe
hooks? They're not.
Yeah, maybe this is just for photos. I could be wrong.
Armed with a Razor Heart 4-aught frog hook. Yeah, it just doesn't show it in the picture. There you go. They're definitely on my list to grab a couple for next year. The big Terminator frog is a good frog. So's a small one.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the greatest frog fisherman to ever fish the pro circuit? I'm guessing when you say pro circuit, you're talking about the Tackle World's pro circuit, but you're just talking about like top level tournaments.
I'll tell you one that nobody thinks about is Zach Burge is an amazing frog fisherman. Shout out to Zach. I hadn't talked to him in a while. Good dude.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, it's probably Michael Bennett because he won $1 million on a damn frog and then retired.
Yeah.
When he won the FLW Cup on Murray, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say Ish, Rojas, Burge. Edwin Evers is a really good frog fisherman. What about Lee Livesey and his mystery scum frog?
Sure. Trying to catch up. We got to catch up and chat, and we got to open up. We got to we're an hour in. We got to think about giving away those that tackle.
Yeah, let's go over this. I got to run the gas station here in just a minute.
And if you got to go, that's fine. We don't feel like you have to.
I like talking to you, Rich. That's the problem.
Yeah. We might still be here when you get back. You grab yourself a Diet Dew, and there's some good ones. Bobby Lane, he'd be up there. Rojas, Gabe's in the chat. Tin Horse Monty, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. All right, let's. I think we probably need our third cam up if we're going to start looking at baits. How should we?
Maybe do this. Out, Rich. Those pecs look pretty swole, bud.
It's either that or it's the Christmas weight. One of the two. Yeah. All right. So this essentially is what I ended up giving away to everybody that won. So the guys that didn't win the go bag, which are pretty cool. This is how much stuff. I think there's 12 packs of baits or things in here. So I'm going to run through what I gave away. So it looks like here's one of the 3/4 ounce Sergeant Lipless, and these are their rattling ones. And these are, so that's the 1/2 ounce. This is the 3/4 ounce sound that you're looking at, but this is the bluegill version. So this one I'm holding in my hand down here that's in this box is the hitch. But that's the sound. It comes with the rotating hook hangers, which I think is pretty cool because lipless are kind of known for like fish dumping or losing jumping off on lipless. So I think the rotating hooks on a lipless is pretty genius, if I'm going to be honest. Got a couple half ouncers here. One is blue black herring and the black gold, and so then these are silent. The half ounce are silent, and the 3/4 ounce are rattle. And so basically, their half ounce and their 3/4 ounce are identical sizes and body shape. Because they've got the rattles, that's what makes it a 3/4 versus a half.
That's
so that's kind of interesting. You don't have a bigger profile with your 3/4 ounce. You just get more weight. So kind of unique things. One more rattling 3/4 ounce sergeant in the chrome chartreuse. And the hooks, just handling them. They're kind of like an EWG style, kind of like not way different than what maybe 6 Cents does with their stock hooks. They're custom hooks, and they're pretty darn sharp. And then you get a black O-ring on the top and black O-rings and their own custom nickel hooks. So you got 4 of those. Not actually 5. Here's another one. This is the cool. root beer in the half ounce, I think. No,
that root beer is a good color where I live.
Yeah.
I don't know why they eat that.
Kind of like a spring craw root beer looking spatter. So there's 5 lipless. Then you're going to get 2 of the A10, which is their square bill. One shirt, and then the colors will vary, but the bottom is ghost bluegill and the top is clear chartreuse. So this is what you're going to win tonight. And so this is that ghost bluegill square bill, which we talked about earlier, the A10, and it's kind of a coffin. I don't know if you can see that.
It's like a fat coffin bill.
Fat coffins hybrid square bill, and it's all molded in and all painted, kind of like all molded in and painted, kind of like you know what.
Yeah,
we talked about this earlier.
Oh, Cordell, Big O's had that deal
going. So you got the same hooks, the black split rings. This is kind of interesting color. You don't see a ton of those. This clear chartreuse. Their ghost gill looks pretty good. I would say it's got a little, I don't know, kind of 6 Cents vibes in that gill paint job. And then you're going to get yourself a couple of their /110s jerkbaits, which are a super slow sink, 4.5 inch, 5/8 ounce jerkbait.
Reminds me of the old Lucky Craft Slender Pointer a little bit.
Yeah. So the top is Wakasaki and the bottom is a metallic red. Could be a sneaky good spring jerkbait. There's some guys that like that red jerkbait. I've never really thrown it, but I know there's some people that vibe on that. 3-hook bait, which is always good. And then you get 3 packs of their camel craws. And I'm just going to open. So there's a green pumpkin.
Do those have camel toes?
Give me the camel toe. Green pumpkin. Then you get their sexy shad, which is kind of a translucent kind of color. And then I'll open up this.
Looks like a pretty good wobblehead deal.
Green pumpkin orange. So this is what, if you haven't commented on last week's stream, this is your chance to kind of get this. So that's their, it's kind of like what I think I said last week is like a riot beaver and a rage bug.
Yeah.
But good little jig bait, good on a swivel head, good on a Texas rig. Lots of options. Football jig. What's up, Bailey? Good to see you here. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Bailey, what's up, man? Serious dangler.
Sorry if I'm neglecting the chat while we're flying. So we're going to do this drawing here in a second. So that's what's up for grabs. So basically, Thomas Hines, I forgot who all won. Let's see. Thomas Hines won one of these. Roland was watching last week from Debo's channel. They're each getting a box like this. Thomas, you're actually getting a couple extra camel craws because there's some odds and you're a member, so you got hooked up a little extra fat in your box. And then Will Junkin and Scotty won the go bags. And Scotty said he recently, I think he's from Alabama, got a bunch of his tackle stolen, and so this is going to help him restart. So I thought that was pretty cool. Will, you got some extra baits in your go bag because you're a member. So those should be arriving any day. So that's what's up for grabs. All this goodness. we'll catch up on chat while I get that Jig Squad
It's
in
a
the house.
great
They just
giveaway
finished their
there, Rich.
stream not so long ago. What's that?
It's a great giveaway.
Yeah, and that's Thunderhawk Lures. Shout out to those guys. Like no affiliation with the channel other than that Mike Dove hangs out in the stream every now and then. And
Mike Dove,
sent all
good
that.
guy. Man,
Yeah.
really good guy. Met him in Knoxville a few years ago, and he introduced me to the guy that invented the Whopper Plopper, Mr. Larry Dahlberg. Great dude. That video is on my channel too, way back when I actually uploaded videos. But
And Brent won the Debo bag, but he lives in Australia, and I'm trying to figure out an economical way to ship him the Debo pack from our. So as soon as I figure that out, when I looked on USPS, they wanted $70 to ship it, and I was like, I got to figure out a better way to ship it to him than that. You don't need to be here.
Send me that guy's address on Instagram. I'll send him out a little 6 cents bag. I got plenty of them here. Let's load this.
Who's that? The guy.
The guy got his
Scotty?
stuff jacked.
Yeah.
Let me send him some stuff too, Rich.
Cool.
Don't let me forget. I'm bad about shipping fast, but I'll get some stuff out to him.
All right, I gotta get my comment picker warmed up here. So if you haven't, you still got a few minutes to comment on last week's stream. I could deliver it by hand. I think a plane ticket might be a little, and I don't know. Can I even fly to Australia right now? I have no idea.
No. That NBA player, they denied him. They were going to deport his ass. They definitely deport me.
Hank Snow says, all right, last week's stream with Debo, getting the link, putting it in the comment picker, fetching the comment picker. Anything goes. Include replies, don't allow duplicates. Loading the comments. All right, so here we are, the moment of truth. It says it's got 66. So if you comment on last week's stream, all right, Bailey, I see your comment. That's awesome. You got a 1 in 66 chance to win. Here it is. Thomas Hines. Thomas, you won one of the other ones. I think you would be willing to have somebody else. Since you won live, I'm just going to assume that you're cool with us finding somebody else to win. If not, you can let me know, but I'm going to redraw here to see if we can get a fresh winner. I'm sure you'd be cool with that. Greg Abramowitz. I don't know that I've seen him on the stream, but Greg, you are the winner. So you're going to have to get a hold of me. I think this might be the first time I've ever picked somebody that actually hasn't been on the stream. I'm going to draw another one as backup in case I don't hear from Greg. If you're here, Greg, speak up. Corey, I know I saw Corey tonight. So Corey, if I don't hear from Greg, Corey MFN Hibden.
Uh-oh.
Who I definitely have seen on the channel and in the live chat. So, Greg, hopefully you're here. You get a hold of me, send me a note, and you're the winner. And if I don't hear from Corey, you're here, and you'll win. So you're the backup to the backup to the backup, Corey. So congratulations, Greg. Oh, Greg, he's right there. He's here. Sorry, Corey. Greg's just one of them quiet. He doesn't chat full. But yeah, Greg, you're here. So send me a email or a Facebook message or an Instagram message, and we'll get you hooked up, buddy. Congratulations.
Rich, awesome. I'm going to have to run.
That's cool. Well, thanks for joining. Welcome back to the YouTube verse.
Yeah, man.
We're glad to have you. And we're looking forward to some videos and some streams and hanging out. And
yeah, I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow. It's really, we got snow and everything outside. It's really cold. I've got a few topics in mind. I don't want to just sit there in my truck every video to make stuff, but I really feel like we need a underappreciated winter baits video that you may have and you don't know that are really good, or maybe you forgot about. So I think that's kind of what I want to talk about that'll probably be my next video. Some underappreciated baits or baits you forgot about that are really good. So
there's a few people offering in the chat to hook that guy up. Send me a message just so I don't forget you guys. It might be easier for you guys to just send me a DM quick instead of remembering everybody that said DM me. If you guys could do that, yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
In case you guys didn't know, I kind of moved my live. I moved my live stream.
Most of the guys here are from Iowa and Minnesota, so it's not that cold where you are. Just for the record.
My tits are freezing. So, all right, guys, thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate the invite tonight. It worked out really good because I was going to join you last night, but I had to work overtime, and then again this week, and then they shut the plant down. So I'll be back to work next week. I'll be streaming on my channel Sunday night. I don't know what we'll talk about, so you guys slide in my DMs on Instagram. Members, I always value your opinion. So thank you guys very much. Rich, keep doing your thing, man. You're a good dude.
Well, this won't be the last time.
No, sir.
All right.
I'm not going to. I plan on not taking any 2-month hiatuses for a while. So
awesome.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, well, we're gonna keep going here for a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, thanks, Dustin. New to bass fishing, only started this year. Is there a box or company I should order from? That's a great question. A couple things to consider. Here's one. I want to show you. Omnia has a really good feature called Shop by Lake, and I'm going to pull that up just to give you a flavor. So Omnia Fishing, which is an online retailer, but they have a really unique concept where you can select a lake where you want to fish. So I don't know where you live in the country, but like if there's fishing reports where you live, people file them. So we'll just pick Lake Minnetonka here. And there's been 99 fishing reports on Lake Minnetonka. And there's different seasons. You can filter by walleye, by bass, and see the 99 fishing reports. And then you can see by season what they're catching on. So here's an ice. I mean, obviously this is Minnesota. You may or may not, right? You might live somewhere else, but you can see this is showing you all the ice fishing stuff now, but I think you can change the season. Maybe based on summer. Does that change the reports? No. You might just have to. Yeah. So here's now summer, right? These are what they're catching on in the summer. They're catching largemouth bass, things like that. So you should be able to do that. If there's people in your area, you can shop by lake. So that's a cool resource to think about as a new angler. Or if you're a savvy angler, but you're traveling to a new area, worth checking out. Otherwise, you can select by species, and then they'll filter options based on that. So that's one idea. I've got more ideas, Dustin. The other idea, there are some boxes. When you say, should I buy a box, you're probably talking about Mystery Tackle Box, Monster Bass, Lucky Tackle Box, 6th Sense. And what I would say, check out Mr. Bass's channel, because that guy is the king of unboxing subscription boxes. And see what he opens and see what they do, what they have, and see what you think would work for you. I think I'm not a big subscription box guy, but for new anglers, I think there's a lot of benefit. It could be some cool stuff. Of the popular ones, I think Mystery Tackle Box and Monster Bass do some of the best jobs. But there are some kind of oddball boxes that I don't like, Champions Box and a few others that Mr. Bass opens that have some sneaky good stuff that I think are worth checking out. So I would check out Mr. Bass's channel if you really want to look at like subscription boxes. If anybody else has any comments for Dustin, let him know. What's up, Justin Cook? Yeah, well, definitely. I'll be. I don't think I got any hockey or soccer on Sunday night, so I should be able to tune in. That's right. You're sticking to the end, Corey. Yeah, I wasn't. We're not done just because Bateman's got to go fill up his truck and warm up. But I think like Fishing with Gramps does reports in Indiana on Omnia. I'm pretty sure Gabe does them in Illinois. There's more and more people doing them all over the places. No problem, Jeff. 93 out of 131 ain't that bad. I'm not going to complain about that. I know some of you are watching on smart TVs and things like that, and it's not as super intuitive to hit the like button on a smart TV. But sometimes if you tap up on the remote, there's options to like. But there you go. Bayou Burner said he just made a profile today. Maybe he's going to do some Alabama. It's like maybe let's go look at a lake in Alabama since you now told us where you are. So we'll go back to shop by lake. You can also filter by state, I think. I think there's an option, right? I think there used to be. They change this sometimes. All right, I'm just going to go back that way. I thought there was a state at one time. Let's go internet. You can close that. Don't need that Simco one anymore. Come on. This is... Let's load. All right. We're going to go back to this screen while I figure this out. So where in Alabama, what's your favorite lake? This is all true, Daniel. 15% code, 10% back if you remember on Omnia. Thomas, maybe we should meet up. I have aspirations to do... oh, here's the state map here. Let me pull this back up. So we can go to Alabama and we can pick a lake. I don't know if you said where you're at, but yeah, I have aspirations to go fishing in South Dakota this spring. So if you're coming up this spring, Thomas, let me know. Yeah, I think if anybody was interested in doing some live shopping, like if they had a big gift card at Omni or they had a budget and they wanted to do something and they wanted to come on the stream, I would be totally open to doing some live coaching, personal shopping on the stream. So if anybody's ever interested in that, send me an email, send me a DM, and we could do a segment or something like that. I don't know if he said where he's from yet, or where his home in Alabama is. Gunnersville. I definitely know there's. So we can say there's 25 fishing reports on Gunnersville. So they're talking about spring largemouth. You can set your season. So right now it's set to season. We can also send it to winter, right? And it's going to tell you what the recommendations are. The more data there is, the better that will be. But otherwise, you can click. There's fishing reports by season. There's none in the winter, so this is all generic data. But then you can see spring, summer. They have some crappie reports and largemouth. Spring, there is all right. So Chatterbaits, they talk about pre-spawn, submerged vegetation, largemouth bass, recommended baits. Chatterbaits, Zoom Z Crowd Juniors, setups. A lot of people talking about vegetation and grass, which is no surprise. Fritz side 7. Best luck has come fishing 6 to 8 foot of grass. Crankbait produce the biggest fish. Lipless crankbaits while covering water and settling in areas holding fish. So you can get, some of them just have bait. Some of them have more detail. Black and blue jigs, deep diving crankbaits. Here's some report from some guy named Rich Lingren done a few years ago where he was catching big fish on Nico rigs around shallow wood in the spring and April. So you can see some people put a little more detail in their reports than others. But this was based on its success. And honestly, there's a video out there if you actually want to see how this was done on my channel. So this is the kind of stuff that is out there that is a little bit maybe not well known that people can tap into. Alabama rigs would be good right now in Gunnersville. Lipless crankbaits, jerkbaits. So yeah, check it out. I think you'll. Does that still work, Chris? I don't even remember what the code was. I don't know if that still works or not. So that would have been our Thanksgiving Eve video where we talked about that code. I don't know if it still works or not, but if somebody was interested, they could check it out. I think it saves you $10 on a membership. Yeah, he's pretty sketch, Adam. Yeah, lipless baits, jerk baits, those would all be really good on Gunnersville right now. Cool. What is else going on? Like I said, we had Bateman came and I had a little bit of a. So we checked it. We used the new bait camera, which is cool. Fantasy fishing will be coming really soon. Yeah, blade baits would be good for sure. Like your silver buddies, that kind of thing would be good this time of year. Glad to help, Dustin. Yeah, I could do fall too. Yeah, black and blue jig works just about everywhere. But what was I going to say? So fantasy fishing will be coming soon. I will have my Beat HellaBass group up. I did talk with our friends at Omnia today, and they verbally committed to supporting that effort again this year. So we should have prizes. I'm going to see if we can get Drain the Lake and regular fantasy fishing prizes. So watch for that soon. If not next week, next week is also probably going to be a Thursday. Just a heads up. My daughter plays hockey, and she's got a game on Wednesday night next week. So next week will probably also be a Thursday night stream. Just a heads up. So we'll be on the 13th next week. I haven't lined up any. Actually, you know what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jay Sekurzit, Bassmaster Elite Series rookie from Wisconsin, will probably be a guest next week. But we probably will be ready to announce the fantasy fishing group by next week. So stay tuned. I'll probably do like a quick video on that. And also we'll talk about on the stream how to enter, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we'll definitely do some fantasy fishing intro videos. I have some older ones on my channel if you go back and look, Chris, but I'll do some refreshed ones for the 2022 season, especially now that we have Drain the Lake and things like that. So there you go. Will said, use the premium membership code and HellaBass code to buy a rod and got a big return with credit and an account there. Very nice. So the most established platform for fantasy fishing is definitely Bassmaster. FLW, back when it was FLW, had a pretty good fantasy fishing game on their site, but then it went away when it was purchased by MLF. Now MLF is supposed to be bringing back some form of betting, gaming, fantasy fishing this year, but it hasn't been announced. There's no details. The stuff is already up on the site for Bassmaster. You can already go out there and create an account. I think you can already set your lineup for the St. John's River, I think is the first event. So that's already up there. You can group and jump in. But we'll next week for sure we'll start talking about, because we're only think like second week of February is the first tournament. So we're about a month away from the first Elite Series. True. There is some skill and there's some luck to fantasy fishing, much like fishing in the real world, right? And but it's free to play and there's a lot of cool prizes. And I think nothing else, it gives you a little more motivation, a little more incentive when you're following the live coverage or reading the tournament articles and things like that. Just like when you play fantasy football, you're more interested in what's happening on the field with maybe not the teams that you are your home team. So it just makes it that more engaging to follow the tournaments. And it takes a lot less time than fantasy fishing. That's true. Mark has been very solid on St. John's River. I think in the last 3 or 4 events there, he's got like 3 top 10s. Fantasy fishing is free. I did not stutter. Costs nothing to play. All you have to do is enter your email at Bassmaster and sign up for an account. And it's free to play. And there's, I think this year again, it's Raplef is sponsoring it, and you can win gift cards, tackle, scales, all kinds of stuff. And then my group, which will be a private group for the people that watch the channel with a password, but it'll also be free to play, and you'll be in a much smaller pool of people playing for prizes as well. Yeah, I don't know if Clun's got one more in him, but we'll see. So, yeah, it's definitely cool. What's your thoughts on that new KBF live today about cheating? I didn't see it. Is that so I'm not sure. I don't know. So if you could send me a link, maybe on Instagram, I'll look into it and maybe talk about it next week, but I'm not sure. One of the things I did, I don't know if you guys saw that Zaldane is done with Megabass. I think a lot of people know that. And so that's interesting. Rumors are that he's joining 13 Fishing and maybe Ketchco or Guggen. So that'll be interesting to see. I feel like it'll be really, we don't really know what the backstory is. It seems like they left on good terms based on their post on Instagram, but it's, a big major shift in the quality of the gear and the level of gear. And so that's really interesting. Yes, Critical Gravy. There will be yeah, we can do a members only fancy fishing. I don't know if we'll have prizes, but we can definitely do it for fun. But I'll figure something out. I'll make a note of that. So there'll be like the Beat HellaBass, and then there'll be like the HellaBass Insiders group or something like that. That's a good call. Okay, I'll look for Chad Hoover's on Facebook. Yeah, Mark Daniels Jr., which, yeah, that makes sense because Mark is already buddies with Wheeler, right? And Wheeler's already with Guggen. And so it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to, I don't know, is he going to be throwing their big, I forget what they call their glide bait, swim bait thing at Guggen? I don't know. But it probably came down to money. But is that because they weren't really willing to give Zaldane what his worth was? Was it not in their budget? Is this like a veteran thing where like they cut the aging veteran, like a quarterback in the league, and they're signing the rookie? Like, because I know they're still supporting Bassmaster Elite Series Maddie Wong at Megabass. and that just comes down to maybe sometimes the strategy of the company. Maybe Megabass is just more traditional. Maybe they don't see the value in the tour anglers. Hard to say. I mean, Megabass will live on. They've got their following. They make great baits. A lot of people love their rods. But there's no doubt that Zaldane sold a ton of mag drafts, right? I mean, how many people own a handful of mag drafts because of what Zaldane has done in tournaments and in videos showing what a popular bait this mag draft is? I mean, that's probably why I have a couple. So, was it more Megabass, not really willing to pay him what he's worth or what his value is, or is it more about Zaldane chasing the money? I don't know. There's probably some truth somewhere in the middle. But maybe they just didn't have it in the budget. Who knows? You could say it's Zaldane not being faithful to, or to Megabass, but maybe Megabass wasn't being faithful and standing by Zaldane. I don't know. I think he's going to be Guggen like Baits, and Guggen owns Bass Mafia now, right? So I know I saw some Bass Mafia in one of his social posts, but I've also heard that he's going 13 for rods and reels. Which G-Man uses 13? Yeah, and maybe Megabass doesn't feel they need it. Maybe they feel like they don't see the return. It seems like Zaldane's one of the guys that, does a lot for the companies he works with. That's true. I don't know. Maybe there's a diminishing return, right? If their sales are so good, regardless of the branding, maybe they don't need that, right? Maybe that's not whether they need to spend money. Yeah, and right now I don't think Guggen has anybody on the elite, right? So maybe they wanted to make a play to get in front of Bassmaster. They've got several guys on Pro Circuit and BPT, but nobody on their team really for the Bassmaster elites. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Ketchco or if it's Guggen, because they definitely work together, but they're not the same company, I don't think. That's true. There's always going to be two stories, and then somewhere in the middle is going to be the truth that nobody will really know. It would be cool. I would like to see Zaldane like crush a tournament and get a win. I mean, he's a guy that's easy to pull for. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Is it just soft plastics? Is it the Bass Mafia stuff? I don't know if he's going to be doing any hard baits. It's too cold in the basement for the visor funk. It's -15 outside. I'm in my basement and it's cold. I've been wearing a stocking cap inside all day today. Interesting. Because I think, isn't Welcher, wasn't he Mudhole or MHX building his own rods? I don't know. Yep. Guggen's under House of Outdoors brand, which owns Bass Mafia, but I don't think Ketchco is separate from House of Outdoors, I believe. I could be wrong. Yep, Scott Martin's. That's right. Scott Martin does throw some Guggen baits. You're right, Glenn. Good call. Yeah, they partner with Ketchco. They definitely work closely, but I think that's where it is. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if you see him pull out the mag draft, and I don't know. Maybe it just gives him more freedom to throw the other big baits, right? Because I know, like in that Lake Fork tournament, he threw the Megabass a little bit when he had that top 10 at Lake Fork this year, but he was throwing a lot of other big glides and things. And I'm sure things that Tim Maynard could tell us, what they all were, like Chads and some of those other high powered herrings and some of those things. Hot down under. Yeah, and I think actually it's funny enough, Michael, I'm pretty sure Oliver is leaving Megabass as well, is what I heard. So interesting that you brought that up. Yeah, Tater Hog was one of the baits he was throwing. That's right, JP. So that was, it'll be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. It's all about making a living. You can't fault a guy for making a living, and hopefully it wasn't just a money grab, and there was reasons and logic behind it. Talked about the new hardware. So hopefully next week, if my cable comes in, we'll be hardwired in. So maybe the picture and everything will be even a little more crystal clear, so we can get the beard and visor even in the best quality picture as well. We'll talk about fantasy fishing next week. New baits. I had a note about new baits. I don't know what I had. Did I get some new? I don't think I got any new tackle. I don't remember what that was about. So we're giving away those baits. We talked about the Thunderhawk lures. Yeah, I hope, to be honest, I hope we don't see a Guggen mag draft and and all that stuff coming out soon. That would just, I don't know. I think most of us would see through that. They still do have Randy. That's right. Randy's still team Megabass. So there is that. Very true, Leo. I mean, Hank Cherry did develop the stunner, and I'm sure some of those fish were caught on prototypes. But we know a lot of those fish were caught on Megabass 110s and 110 plus ones. And I don't know. There's people complaining about that for sure. I see people giving Edwin Evers all kinds of crap because he used to be Megabass and now there's the Dark Agent E. Yeah, we should bring up, like, just get a camera mount up here. I thought about playing with an alternative cannon and getting like a switch, so that I can like give you a similar view with a slight angle where it automatically flips like maybe every 30 seconds for a little bit. But I need a little more hardware to be able to do that. Whereas like this cam, the way I have it set up, I can just bring some baits in and then, show you these baits. Actually, that's not what I want to do. Not that. Not that. I wanted to do, right, I can do this, right? And then I can show you a rage bug, which is similar to a bandito bug, but it's the OG bandito bug. And if we get a hardwired stream, then maybe it won't be so fuzzy, right? So this is something I can do on the fly with a different little setup, but I can't have it automatically set to flip back and forth, which might be something we'll work on in the future. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Just a second, I gotta fix this. He definitely lost some rods, and I don't know if I mean, he's been with favorites, and he's been with favorites, but I don't know if he got new favorite rods and he wasn't quite used to them. That's a good question. Joe, I'm not sure. I believe I've heard the DT8's Academy, at least in the stores, has had them in stock, but I'm not sure who has them online. I'm not aware of anybody. I think you're in Minnesota, Joe. I don't know if anybody that has them locally in stock. I don't think Omnia has them in yet. I think I've got in-stock alerts set up on Omnia for when they do come in, so I can grab some, because that's one that I don't want to miss out on. But as far as I know, the DT8s are not in at Omnia. But I've got the in-stock alerts set up. But maybe somebody else can tell us who's got the DT8s. Thank you, Jig Squad. You know what? Honestly, Jig Squad, I was watching Eric's little stream where he was playing with the magnifying glass that TK gave him the idea, and for some reason it clicked onto me on how I would set up an auxiliary cam to do the same thing. So honestly, that was inspired by Eric playing around, which was in preparation for your Jig Squad stream that got me thinking about this camera. So in a roundabout way, you helped figure that out. What are the odds of you getting run over in my kayak on Minnetonka in May? Honestly, Minnetonka is actually a pretty good kayak lake as long as you stay away from the big water, but there's a lot of small water because I don't know if we can look at Lake Minnetonka here. Let me pull it up. There's a lot of water that you can get back on Minnetonka that is very kayak friendly. Here, so let's go to Minnesota, and I'll give you some of this. Does it have the map? So here's Minnetonka, but like this is the Grays Bay end back here. So like back in here, you don't get a lot of big boats. That's a good area. You get down in this like Deep Haven area, and there's also a lot of these like little lakes that have little channels that connect them and little boat harbors that big boats don't really go in. And I'm not like a Tonka expert, but then you get up into like the small lakes like West Arm and Jennings and Forest up in here. And then like, I think this is Stubbs. And there's also, and then you get into like Seton and Black. A lot of those places would be a lot of these are like no wake and very kayak friendly. Most of this area is no wake. So there's a lot of good stuff to sneak around in the back of places in kayaks on Minnetonka. So just stay out of stay away from this big island area out here. That in the summertime will likely get a guy killed in a kayak in this area. But other than that, there's a lot you get in those side places, there's a lot of good sneaky water for a kayak. Yeah, I will say that Omnia did get a bunch of Stunnas in. So if you're looking for Stunnas, glad you like it, Bo. Love it. Like I got that late last year. I fish a ton of. Actually, I think I have it right here. It's become my go-to rod for throwing my 3/4 ounce grass jigs on. So I throw this Bass Tech Tungsten 3/4 ounce grass jig. I've got a spicy beaver on it because I want a little bit slower fall and some treetops down in Louisiana. But normally I throw like a baby D-bomb on that thing, crashes through the grass, and did really well fishing this. So 3/4 ounce beavers, 3/4 ounce jigs, 20, 25 pound fluorocarbon. Got the SLX XT on it, which has been quite an amazing reel for that $130 price point. And it jacks them like that. You can see it's the 744 full handle. I like the full handle for the heavier stuff. But honestly, my take on it is my favorite rod is my Dobbins HP, the Extreme 745. And I think this 744 is really similar and fishes really similar to the 745 for about $100 less. And honestly, I don't think I could honestly tell anybody that the HP 745 is $100 better than the 744. So if you're looking for a flipping grass rod, jig rod, 3/4 ounce up to 1 ounce, it's a sweet rod. Checking some chat comments. Yeah, I caught a little bit of the Jig Squad stream, but not a lot of it because I was prepping here. But they got some cool stuff going over at Jig Squad. Yeah, just stay away from the big water. You'll be fine in a kayak. True, and it depends in May, right? Like if it's an 80-degree day in May, you might see some, but we get a lot of 60, 70-degree weather. That kind of keeps a lot of the big boats off the water too. So May is actually a pretty good time to get out fishing. May for a mini-yak tournament. Yeah. If you're going to do it, May or September, October are the times to go. Michael Minnan says he hammered him on a vault and a 4-inch roboworm in Texas. Hey, no shame in that game. If you're catching them, you're catching them. I have not been down to Okoboji to fish, but I want to because I know some of my buddies have been cracking them in the spring. So if you want to meet me, Horseshoe Tackle, maybe we could rendezvous. That's true, Thomas. Like, I like the 110s. I like the Mag Draft. There's a couple other baits that I think are decent, but like people love the Pop Max. I don't get it. Yeah, awesome, Nick. I think you're gonna love it. Thanks, Will. Yeah, we're 2 hours in. We're probably gonna wrap things up here pretty cool. I just want to make sure we get everybody's questions answered. That's all right, Ronald. Better late than ever, and the replay gang's always a cool gang too. Yeah, I need to get on that. We need to have a heart-to-heart with Mrs. HellaBass to make sure we get aligned there. Best swim jig rod under $200. What rod length do you like, Matthew? I probably would say the Caden 714 would be my top choice, I think. Or 744 if you like a little bit longer rod. Dark Sleepers, a lot of people like that. That's a good call. Let me know. Yeah, congratulations to Caro on that winning the rod the other night. Yeah, JP, I'm a Yellow Magic guy, which is pretty close to the Rico. Ew, that's no good. Actually, when I was younger, I fished with my uncle Brian, and he had like maybe a 14-foot Alumacraft that was converted into a bass boat, and he didn't strap his rods down, and we hit a boat wake, and he lost several really nice rod combos into Lake Minnetonka. So it happens out there. The Matthew, the Dobbins Fred Rumbana series are a great deal. They're basically green Champion XPs, and they're being cleared out because green rods are not selling for them. So there's nothing wrong with them. They're great rods. They're just not good sellers because I guess a lot of people don't like green rods. And so Gary said he'll never make another green rod like that. Although I think the Maverick's got some green in it, but not as green, I don't think. So if you don't mind the green or you like the green, snap them up because I think they're like $100 off at the Dobbins site. Yeah, under 7.3, I'd go with the 714C Caden. The Cadens are actually pretty fast. I would say the Cadens are as fast or faster than the Champ slightly. The Sierras are the ones a little softer. And it really depends on the Champ model. It really varies rod to rod. There's some really technique specific stuff in Champion, like the 734 XP is a pretty moderate rod. It's got a little bit slower action, but the 744 has got a pretty fast action. So, Brent, it is 10:05 p.m. in Minnesota Central Standard Time. So we're the same time zone as Chicago or Dallas. What time is it down in the land down under? What time is it tomorrow in the future? I would not say that I'm on the advisory board, but I do talk to them, share my ideas. We might do some more things this year. We're all froze up here. I haven't been out to where the river's open this year. 3 p.m. Happy hour. No problem, Matthew. Never shook that. Never seen the Lifetime Hard Frog Popper. Yeah, right. The EX6. That lineup never did any good for Loomis, I don't think. What she doesn't know won't hurt her. You just camouflage it with the rest of them. She'll never know. Yeah. And if you like this, that's a good point, Thomas. I like, for some reason, a little bit faster action on my swim jigs, but like, yeah, Sierra 734 or 704 would make a good swim jig rod as well. But some people just seem to like the cadence for swim jigs, and I do too. But you win some, you lose some. That's true. He did say sub 200 though. But what I think, if you go to Tackle Warehouse right now, right? Aren't they running some smoking deals on those? Let's see here. I don't spend a lot of time on this site. Give me a minute. But I thought they were running Daiwa, Chenko, Quantum. Bear with me as I figure this out. Yeah, so if they have it in stock, good point, Brian. As I sometimes forget about this, you can get the Champion XP Dobbins for, so that'd be the 7'3". If they're in stock, it would be this one. They have 5 of them in stock in the split grip. You can get it for $189. Also, if Omnia has it, you could call them or message them. They might price match. Just saying. So, good call. This is probably one of the best swim jig rods there is, and you're not going to find a much better deal than that on this rod. It's pretty dope. Good call, Brian. Always keeping me honest. Yeah, the green Boom Boom is more, it's not like neon green. It's not like this green on my stream here. It's more of a frog green. Jason, good chance. I don't know if I've switched out enough things to do a new Arsenal video. Maybe if I get busy and sell some of my older Savvies and switch into some Cadence and do some swapping around and upgrade a few reels, maybe it would warrant a 2022 Arsenal video. But that might be closer to spring. He said sub $200, and so retail price, the Caden is like $180, and the Champions are like $250. But with that Dobbin sale, 25 days of Christmas on Tackle Warehouse, then the Champ XP would be my choice. But you also don't need a ton of sensitivity for a swim jig rod, right? So the Caden, I think, makes a ton of sense as a swim jig rod when you don't look at the sale. And if you're going to go to Tackle Warehouse, go over to Debo or Baitman's videos and click through the description and help them out. I do think in general, a lot of the stuff Megabass does is a little gimmicky, doesn't really apply to the US, but some of their stuff's pretty good. There is a couple near some power plants that you can fish. What's up from Bass Fishing Discord? One is an 8-1 better than a 7-1. It's a little bit personal preference. I guess 8-1, anytime you are reeling up line and you want to get that slack up fast between presentations, or where you're at a risk of a fish swimming at you really hard on the bite and you need to pick up that line fast. A buzzbait could be really good for an 8-1, where like you're going to make that presentation and then you're going to have some dead water. You might want to zoom it in and get it back out there. Honestly, for like worms and jigs where you're casting it out and you're kind of pulling it with the rod, or like flipping where you don't really work the rod with the reel, and that's not going to affect the speed. But then so you flip it, you hop it, and then you burn it in a couple cranks and flip it again, right? Over the course of a day, an 8-1 reel on a flipping rod might get you, even though you're only saving a fraction of a second, maybe it gets you 20 more flips in a day. And if that fish runs at you, you just got a little more, right, to catch up and hit them and not have slack in your line. So just think about the application of how you're throwing the rod, how you're using the bait. Now, if you have a person, if you like put it on a chatterbait rod and you're a person that has a hard time slowing your chatterbaits or your swim baits down or swim jigs, right, you're not going to like the 8-1 because you're going to be overfishing that bait. Hope that makes sense, Moog. I feel like I'm behind on chat again. Yeah, both ALFC and Omnia have been price matching Tackle Warehouse if you message them, and they both typically have faster shipping than Tackle Warehouse. Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but you can definitely check if they will do that. There was what I think for a long time on Omnia, if you let's just check it. If you go and add a rod, they had a little Easter egg discount, because a lot of times like codes don't work on sometimes Dobbins and Shimano in some places. It typically works at for the code usually works here, but so if you added a rod to your cart, then I don't see it now. Looks like they turned that off. They used to have a little pop-up instant deal where, but maybe because I'm not signed in. Maybe if I was signed in, would it work? Let's see here. Cart. Yeah, so if you're signed in with your account, there's a 25 cents off or 25% off a Tatula code that comes up if you add a rod. So there's a little Easter egg there, kind of an unadvertised sale. Good call, Chris. Yeah, that's a boat. I actually have another boat search video recorded. I just haven't got around to editing or put it out yet. So yeah, on heavier action rods like flipping rods, swim bait rods, jig rods, I like the full handle. And then on my more finessey stuff, more feel rods, tubes, things like that, the split grip. But I don't really like, it's not like a deal breaker for me. So if I want to buy that rod, and let's say I was going to order a 742 or 743, which would be a smallmouth rod, which would be kind of a feel rod, but they had the full handle in stock, I would order the split handle if they had both, but it wouldn't keep me from buying the rod. And same way with the full handles, right? Like I have the 745 in both the full and the split. Now, I would prefer the full, for this type of application, but it doesn't keep me from buying the rod, if that makes sense, right? But like they make the 744 in a split and a full. I prefer the full for the, flipping, but I wouldn't shy away from the split. And if it's a personal preference where you like to feel the split, they're not that big a difference. I do have to work from my house tomorrow, but that's okay. It's only 10:15. My kids are probably not even in bed yet. Sounds like they restocked some things. Some good deals to be had if you didn't get what you needed for Christmas. You keep losing your chatterbaits. Have you seen my latest video, Jake? I had made a whole video about how to lose less chatterbaits by the way you rig them. So go check that out. Man, the chat is fire. You guys are crazy tonight. We still got 100 people in here. That's awesome. Black buzzbait's good, Jake. I love a black buzzbait. There you go. Sounds like it worked. Yeah. Omnia and ALFC will go out of their way to make you a happy customer. So it's a premium perk. There you go. So if you have to be a member to get that 25% off on the Tatula. So I think the regular price is what, $29 to become a member, and you get free shipping on anything. You can order like literally one crankbait or a spool of line or a pack of Senkos and get free shipping. And then you get 10% back on all your baits. So if you spend $300 or anything, any purchase, you get 10% back. So if you spend $300 in a year, you'll make it back. Plus they have these extra sales and perks like the 25% off on a Tatula, right? So that's, plus you're going to get the 10% back on points. But a Tatula is what, I don't know. The SVE Tatula is what, two something, right? So that's like $50 right there, which pays for itself. Yeah. So you're going to save $50 on the reel on a $30 membership. Plus you're going to get 10% back plus free shipping. Depends on where you're talking about and what you're fishing for. I know your species are a little bit different down there. Funny thing, one of the things that all of us buy from Omni a lot are Bassman spinnerbaits, which are from Australia. It's all because of you, Sean. The YouTube algorithm, because of all the streams that you watch, and when you watch my stream, it sends positive signals and recommends me to all the streams and people that watch the streams you watch. Well, that's no good, Matt. Hopefully he's doing well, and hopefully it's like just a no symptom positive. I'm sure he's heartbroken that he can't go to school. Yeah. Gramps, are you streaming tomorrow night? Good night. Good afternoon. Good night, Brent. I'll work on that shipping. Hopefully tomorrow I won't be too busy at work. Yeah, the other thing is the bargain bin at Omnia. You can use my code. And there's some good stuff in the bargain bin at Omnia sometimes. And you can use the HB January 15 or HB Jan 15 code to find some cool stuff in the bargain bin. So if you go here, you go to bargain bin, and some of this stuff's like overstock, but good stuff. If you are in need of a 5 extra large bibs, the striker bibs, regular $260 on sale for $182, and then you get an extra 15% off. You can get 6-inch dingers for like $2 something a pack. a bunch of 6 cents jigs. They've got they got some other striker stuff here. I didn't even see these other sizes here. A large, an extra large. So if you need some Strike Master ice stuff, they got some pretty good things here, and you could add the code to that. Pocket craws, Sandtone football jigs, jungle hooks, owner hooks, Big Bites kamikazes, just certain colors. The Dual Realis Apex crank, marked down to $10. Now if you get that for like $9. Some Outcast football jigs, Strike King Hack Attack jigs, Bass Tactics Smelt Knitter jig. This is the jig that Gussie used on for Loud and Teleco to win when he was what do they call it? Moping. Guggen fans, you get yourself some Trench Hogs deep discount. Z-Man Cross Eyes and Smoked It. $9.99, marked down to $6.99. Get another 15% off on that. Arsenal Tactical Minnow and Motor Oil. Yeah, so you guys can use the code down here on the screen right here, HBJAN15, to get 15% off all that bargain bin stuff. So sorry if I've triggered any of you to make some stuff that you weren't ready to buy. Yeah. Check out Gramps tomorrow night if you guys are addicted to the online streaming as much as I am. If you guys have noticed, you'll see me in Debo streams. You see me in Mr. Bass. I usually show up on Gramps every now and then. I like to swing in on Tin Horse Monty streams, sometimes Serious Angler, occasionally Smallmouth Crush after hours. All right. Very good. Yeah, I meant to buy some of those goats, but I never got around to it. Yeah, we got a meet coming up. We got 2 meets the next 2 weekends. But you're not going to win anything because Carl wins everything on Gramps' streams. Okay. Have you sent them a note asking them to carry some? I bet you they would. Right on. Are you talking about like the football club, or are you talking about the baits? Because these are like that swim bait I showed. This is it right here. It's the Arsenal Tactical Minnow in that dirty motor oil, which is a fantastic chatterbait trailer. It's actually in Brent's bag that I just have to figure out how to ship for less than $70 that Debo put together. Yeah, no joke. I'm sick of it. And where you are, Ron, you get it super fast. Yeah, last year I got, or right before I went down to Louisiana, I found OG Slims in the bargain bin. They just had some overstocks on certain colors. So basically, Omnia is like growing, right? And they only have so much warehouse and so many inventory slots. And last year, they would put all those orders in the spring, and a lot of these companies were so back ordered. And then they had redundant orders out, and then sometimes somebody would get a whole bunch of stuff in, and they would ship them like 3 orders worth of stuff for like just a couple colors, and then they would have to basically clear out like a third of it so they wouldn't tear up too many spots in their warehouse. So a lot of this stuff isn't like junk or bad stuff. It's just like 1 or 2 colors or something they got too much of. Yeah, I've heard looking for that box opening on Debo's channel. Rig it? I don't know if I got some chatterbaits with them already on it. I can just whip out of my chatterbait box here. Actually, so here is the bluegill color, which is one of my favorite, a little bit different color. That it's on a what is this one here? This is a half ounce or a 3. This one's cut enough. It's a half ounce. It's almost worn out, beaten on the head, but half ounce jackhammer, green pumpkin, and then a bluegill tactical minnow on it. And it's got an ever so slight boot tail, which I typically don't like boot tails on blade jigs, but this one is so skinny and so fine. It doesn't drag the chatterbait down. It still does it. It hunts. It moves water. If you watch my videos, I've caught a lot of good fish on this type of setup right here. And that's the 4.5 inch. And then when I'm fishing smallies, a lot of times I'll drop down to that 3.5 inch with that tactical minnow. And then that 3.5 inch is also a Crate spinnerbait trailer. Since you asked, Jake. But on this little Bassman Compact, I rigged this little 3.5 inch tactical as a trailer, and I caught some really good fish down in the Ouachita River in Louisiana. So there it is on a compact spinnerbait. So that's a couple ways I like to rig it. I've heard of people doing well on drop shots, but I basically use them rigged on chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and things like that. Crazy. You guys must be bored. I've got 2 of them, Jameson. One of my favorite rods. And I don't know if you saw me earlier, but like I honestly said, like I will never dissuade you from ordering. This is actually an older one, right? This is, if you're familiar with the old markings, I've had this rod a long time. So, durability wise, this is the old style Champion Extreme. And I've had this one a long time. This one I got rigged up with a football, or I guess it's a regular jig. But usually throw football jigs on this one. And then I have another one set up with slightly heavier line right here. Also the old ones. So all my 745s are still the old style. But this one's got like a half-ounce beaver with a ring hook, or I guess it's a fighting frog. Actually, that's the setup. I caught my one good keeper on day 2 at the Natty that got me into the final day cut on that setup right there. So, yeah, I love the 745 for half-ounce jigs, football jigs, flipping 1/2 to 3/4 ounce creature baits, things like that. But what I was saying earlier is, honestly, I don't know if I can justify spending the extra $100. I would almost recommend the XP 744. They fish very, very similar. At an inch shorter, they have almost the same action. $100 less, it's a really good option, Jameson. But if you want to treat yourself, get the HP. That's good, Wes. I think most of us here like fishing. There's nothing new to put up. Well, there'll be bait cam to come, but I got nothing really on the bait cam. Oh, you wanted to see the chatterbait on that. Yeah, like a meetup type thing. I was there at the fighter party in person. I saw Mr. Bass do a bunch of Doe Live baits on his stream the other night. I just haven't gotten into the JDM stuff. I can try to remember to do that. Maybe, or a pinned comment at least. I'll try. If not, send me a DM on Instagram so I don't forget. Got lots of fishing vids. I think I did 100 fishing videos last year. I wouldn't doubt that. Lester's a good fisherman. Yeah, I think that's why we were talking about that with Baitman back in the earlier, right? Like when him and Eric, had 700, 800, 1,000 live viewers when we were all down in lockdown. We were just like, we couldn't talk to our wives or kids anymore. So the fact of just hanging out on a live stream seemed like about as much interaction as any of us were getting. Yeah, that old Chronarch, was this what do they call this? The 100D7, one of my favorite reels. This one actually has like a carbon handle, and there's extra bearings in the reel knobs. I bought it off eBay. It was all tricked out. It's a sweet reel. I don't know that I'll ever get rid of that. Josh Douglas has offered to buy it from me several times. Yeah, they do have some BFS rods. I think they're in the Sierra lineup. Maybe they're in some. I forget. I'm not a big fan of them, so I don't pay attention. What's his name? Trey Harple is the guy to talk to. He's a BFS fanatic, a Dobbins guy. So look up Trey Harple. Also goes by TH Customs with a K on Instagram. He's a BFS nut, and he can answer your questions. We actually talked a lot about it. If you go back, I think I have a stream about BFS. Let me see if I can pull that up. We talk all about it, and he talks all about it, and I pretend to care about BFS, and he because he's super excited. Right here, I'll just show it on the screen quick here. It's this one right here. BFS talking to Trey 10 months ago. We talked all about it. So check that video out, David, if you got questions about BFS. 744 is a good rod too. Could be worse. Yeah, I do think it's Sierra, but yeah, I think they're going to do some more things at Omnia just in general this summer. I think hopefully we're past the Omicron and we can do more fun things, and it's more PC to do stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, river fishing. A couple things I like. A stupid tube is good. A Ned rig is pretty good. In the winter, Kitex can be good. Slow rolled. There's some good options. I guess I did do a February winter fishing video. It wasn't last year, but the year before. We did pretty well. There you go. You can check out this one, Jake. Watch this vid right here. All bundled up. Minnesota River. Can't be any colder than a New Jersey river. I can't believe there's still 94 people here. Chat is flying. Thanks for tuning in, John. Yeah, we got to wrap things up. What head do I use for Stupid Tube? I use two heads. One is this Bass Tech agitator head. I think my phone shut off, ran out of battery, so we can't do the bait cam. And it's just got a fairly decent hook in it. But what's unique about it is it's a football shaped head. This is an 1/8 ounce. I usually use like a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce. But then that just gives you a little bit wider head when you shove it in the tube. Makes your tube heads kind of football shaped from the inside, which I like. And I've caught a lot of fish on that. That's what I did really well up on Vermilion on. Sometimes I have a Stupid Tube rig just sitting around here, but I don't see one. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the other one. And then the other one is a VMC extra wide gap tube head, which I can show you. Agitator head you can get at Omnia, Tackle Warehouse. Not VMC. Venom? No. What's the other one? Maybe it's Venom. It's not Venom, is it? Maybe it is Venom. Oh. Not Venom. What's another one that starts with a V that would make... I have a video where this stuff is linked. VNM, that's what it is. I'm almost positive. All right, this one right here. This V&M Smalley tube hook. It's got a giant gaping EWG, so you can fish really thick walled tubes and still stupid tube rig them. Horseshoe. Dustin checking in from Illinois. What's up, buddy? Snack Daddy does have some good stuff, both jig heads and so does Secret Lures, but those aren't the ones I use. Yeah. Yeah, if your river will allow it, blade baits are good if you can fish them without losing too many. Oh, it's not for me. Yep, it's all bots. It costs me more in bots to watch the channel than it does to run the channel. First rule about stupid tubes is there's no stupid tubes. All right, we're 2.5 hours in. We got to save something for next week's. I mean, like Ike and Pete and all those guys, they throw a lot of blade baits out there. But yeah, so next week I think Jay Stakurik will be on. We'll talk about, what do we say? We'll talk about fantasy fishing and how to sign up. I'll make sure I have the group up next week, and we'll have another great stream. Matt Robertson is a good fisherman. He's legit for sure. So we're going to wrap things up. If you came in late, feel free to catch the replay on Facebook or YouTube. I also download the audio on a podcast. So if you have a favorite podcast app, just search HellaBass. If you like to listen to this kind of stuff while you're walking the dog, working out, driving, that is all available. I appreciate everybody so much that came out tonight in full force and hung through the marathon. It didn't feel like 2.5 hours. One more peg weight on a Texas rig, use a 3 at jungle hook wide gap. Sure. It's a little bit different fall than a stupid tube, though. It's different action. But there are times that I will Texas rig a tube as well. Nighty night. Appreciate all you guys. And as always, here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less.